Good evening, everybody. How is everyone doing this Friday evening for me? Maybe Friday daytime for you. How is everyone doing? Is everyone having a good time? Is everyone ready for the show? Is everyone psyched up for the SciMan debunk? Oh dear, it's epic fail from SciManDan and Arctic Reflections. What can I say? But as we all know, they fail every single time they try to put debunk videos out. But it's just the nature of the course being a flat earther, and as you will see, the hordes of people that believe their rhetoric without doing an ounce of research just goes to show how this arena is essentially filled with idiots. And I don't mean that for everybody, but the trolls will be trolls and the sheep will be led. And if you've got a clown or a series of clowns that lead your movement, in this case SciManDan and his other debunkers, then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get these ridiculous videos that are put out about people that are completely and utterly wrong. I'll get to it. I will. Trust me. Right. Okay. Let's say a few hellos to some of the people that are in. We have Paul Keeling. Nice to see you in. Hell and Degenerates, again, an awesome advocate for going around and giving something back to these trolls. Well done. Tom Cornwell, known your friend. Nice to see you in. Arctic Reflections was in the house. He said, "So, you exchanged your head for SciManDan in the picture." I did. Yes, I did. "Could not bear to watch it live," he says. You can't bear it. No, I dare say you don't. Anyway, "I'm watching tomorrow," he says, "to get material for my next video about you. Good luck debunking us." I don't need luck, my friend. I just need a little bit of research, something that you clearly didn't do. Right, Christian Kumar, nice to see you in. Gadget Inspector says he can't wait for this. Rip the pish. Indeed I will. Rachy, double O, nice to see you in. TMF, and I forgot. Nice to see you in. Mike Dornan, Rob Keane, we've got Ian Adams, we have Chris, Anthony Burrows, who else have we got in? Seek and Find, Brian Shuker in. Funnily enough, actually, Brian, it's going to be your video that we're going to be discussing, so hold tight to your britches there. Flat for Life, nice to see you in. Unacticas of a video, no idea what that means, but nice to see you in anyway. Sam, how are you doing? I think I've caught up. Oh, The Snark and Nathwidgin Oakley, nice to see you in. Right, Expose Antarctica, another one. Right, let's see who we have in. Hang on, let's see. Let's unmute. There we go. Here we go. I can hear some people in there. We've got Pete going at it right now. So let's do some intros. We have Pete Shea, we have Jimbo, we have Paige, and the real Bob Dole. How is everyone doing?
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? Great.
Now then, I hope you two boys are going to behave yourself today. You know, no more actor bashing, no more throttling each other virtually. You know, I mean, come on, guys.
Well, it's Friday. Come on. So let's not pre-script anything. And listen, sometimes an extreme reaction is justified, and that's not pointing any fingers at anybody. That's in all of us. But how you doing, Ranty? And how you doing, everybody?
Yes. How are you doing, Bob?
Which Bob? Me, Bob?
Well, you're
sometimes you say Bob, but you're not
Bob,
talking to
by
me.
the way. That's not the real Bob.
There's only one Bob. There's only one Bob in the house.
I'm doing just fine, pretty sure.
Right, okay. Listen, I'm going to get into this debunking of SciManDan before we get into the main show completely, because, you know...
Sounds like an easy task.
It is an easy task.
Just low-hanging fruit there, Randy.
I'm thinking it's going to take about 15 minutes to go through it and, really rip him a new one. Unless you've got something you want to present and need to present before we do that.
Yeah, I'd
No,
like to
let's
present.
get to the.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
bugger.
have one thing, and it's just a sigh. So before we get to SciManDan, here's my sigh. Ah.
Oh, it's a sign. SciManDan. I like it. I like it.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. It is going to be fun. Right, let me get. Which one shall I get ready first? Right, so Arctic Reflections. Right, okay. So I'll bring his video up first, and then I'll share my screen so that you guys can see. Now, basically, hang on. Let's get that up. Okay, so I hadn't even known that this video was out. Didn't even know until I saw SciManDan put a video out, and I saw that I was in some part of that. So then I was able to trace it back and realise that Arctic Reflections had done a video about this video that I did. Now, I called it Your Daily Dose of Flat Earth, because it was an absolutely astonishing observation by one of my subscribers, and we have him in the chat right now. So anyway, when I clicked the video and I looked, I was like, hey, what's going on here? 62 likes, 309 dislikes. Oh, here we go. Somebody's been sending the trolls over, SciManDan. Anyway, so plenty of comments. And anyway, here we go. This was the video in question, and so we're up to date with that. So let's go to the next video. That would have been from Arctic Reflections. So he premiered this on the 11th of September. What are we now? So that was a week ago. So it just goes to show I had no idea he'd put this video out. Anyway, 257 likes from his sheep and 1 dislike. This is how little research these guys do. So when we compare the two, 257 likes to 1 dislike, and let's go to my video that's actually and factually correct, 62 likes to 309 dislikes. I mean, you just couldn't make these figures up, but it is what it is. Anyway, I noticed interestingly in in one of his in one of the screens here, he's got this arrow that says one way. And I think that's quite important because I'm going to be using this arrow to guide him along the route of the observation. So anyway, there's his video. I'll play the video clips in a moment. And here's SciManDan. So this is released today. So this was released today. He's obviously put me with a clown uniform on and a clown head, and you know, he's just celebrating victory right now. Literally, just celebrating victory.
Looks like he's wearing a medical bracelet. He must have been released from the institution or something the same day.
I would think so. It's definitely.
He's out on his weekend leave.
I haven't seen any of this. He's a fucking clown himself, but yeah, I haven't seen any of this.
Isn't he?
Well, so there's a brief rundown. There was an original video by me. There was a video put out by Arctic Reflections that claims that I was incorrect, and then SciManDan jumps all over this, referring back to the video that Arctic Reflections puts out, and is patting him on the back and sending people over to go and subscribe to him, and you know, basically say that he agrees with the findings of Arctic Reflections, right? So there's the prelim. That's what's up to today. So I've got a video to play, so I'm gonna reshare my screen, and no, that's not it. Hang on. There we go. Right. Okay, so now you should see this video that I've just called History Reversed. Doesn't matter what it's called, it's 5 minutes long. So if you just want to pop yourselves on mute for a moment, I'm going to play this for the audiences and yourself, and you'll, just see what it says. Here we go.
If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. This is the location of the turbine in the video according to Ranty. But have a close look in the background. This tower is a navigation aid, and it's important in this debunk of Ranty's claims. This is a chart of Liverpool Bay. Down at right you have Liverpool. Up here he was filming from, according to Ranty. Here you have the wind farm and the tower that he tells it. You see, this is the tower that's in the background, not up here. So the angle to the windmill is another than the one Ranty tells us. Because the angle is different, it's not the mountain that Ranty tells us it is. What can it be? Let's have a look. If you use the coordinates in Ranty's description and draw a line over the tower, it will look like this. And if you use a topographic map and draw a similar line, you will see that it points ahead to mountains which are up to 1,000 meters high. And is absolutely correct. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth.
Oh, well, you seem to have us here, Ranty. Or do you? It appears that Ranty has got almost everything wrong about this. Take a look at this clip from Arctic Reflections, who does a thorough debunking of Ranty's video.
This is the location of the turbine in the video according to Ranty. But other clues in the background. This tower is a navigation aid and it's important. It is the right place. This is shortly away down by a Liverpool. Up here it was screaming from Ranty. There the farm and the tower that he tells it. You see, this is the tower that's in the background, not up here.
So he's got the wrong turbine, no surprise there, but let's continue and watch more of Ranty's downfall.
So, the angle to the windmill is another than the one Ranty tells us. Because the angle is different, it's not the mountain that Ranty tells us it is. What can it be? Let's have a look. If you use the coordinates in the red description and draw a line over the tower, it will look like this. And if you use the topographic map and draw a similar line, you will see that it points ahead to mountains which are up to 1,000 meters high.
Well, there you go. Amazing work, Arctic Reflections. Thank you very much for that. Everyone else, check out his channel. The link is in the description. So, Ranty once again proves the globe because the only land we can see in this observation is land that's over 1,000 meters in elevation. Well done, Ranty. Fail for him, win for us.
Sorry to hear about your downfall. I'll send an ambulance right away with a stretcher. Who's doing the heavy breathing?
If we have chosen the right
It's not me
mountain
anyway.
and
Are
the
we still
right
playing? I was
wind
going to say
turbine,
it was Ranty.
we live on a
Like
flat
scrambled eggs.
Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth.
But obviously,
Right, okay. So if we have chosen the right turbine, we live on a flat Earth. Now that's according to Arctic Reflections, and you've heard that SciManDan fully endorses his work. Now you'll also notice that this object here is the object that that is being pointed out inside of the video by Arctic Reflections. Let me see if I can go back where he goes to. He points out the tower. Hang on.
Easter band.
Sorry? There we go. So yeah, so there's the same object that he's pointing out, and he's claiming this tower is this turbine down here, this down here, this marker. right? So this is what he's claiming. Okay, right, now for the reveal. Here we go. Steady. I mean, I don't. This is basic stuff. Right, let me open up Google Earth. Let me reshare my screen with you guys. Basic stuff. So, from the observation point, way down here. Right, so I'm going to put a new line in so that you can track with me and you can follow this. Now in the video I counted to 55 turbines just before we got to the marker, right? But here we go. There's the Douglas complex that was seen in the video. Then when we come across, we came to a buoy. Then we saw a boat in the observation. And then finally, we saw the very first turbine, which would have been this turbine, right? So when we swing across and we go through to wind turbine 55, which is there's wind turbine 55. So it's the yellow line. Let's follow that yellow line in. What happens when we zoom in? Oh, there's a met mast there. Look at that. You see that? That's a met mast, right? Exactly in the position that we see in the imagery. However, this boyo, this Arctic Reflections guy, is claiming it's this met mast down here. Let's see if I can remove the polygon so that you can see. Can you see there's another met mast there? So he's claiming that it's that. Now then, I'll clear that, I don't need that for now. Let's put over the wind turbines that he's put in. So this is his map, right? So this is his map, and if we go down here, he's got it from a different site, basically. He's got it from a different site. So all I've done is I've overlaid the map against my map, so I'll take that off, and you can see that it's absolutely identical in every way, shape and form. If I scroll in, you'll see. There we go. If I put this one on, you can see that the wind turbines are exactly in the same place. Everything's correct. So there you go. So you can just see that everything folds over absolutely perfectly. And in his map, all he has in place of the met mast is a yellow X. You know, there's a yellow X there, right? So let's go back to there. Can you see this little yellow X? What he's claiming is that it's this met mast down here. So he's saying that it's this met mast. Except there's two met masts, except his map doesn't show it. So let's take that off. And we've got met mast 1 there, and we've got met mast there. Turbine 55, turbine 56, which I just showed you through the videos. I counted it. And you can do this yourself. And what do you know? It takes you to this landmass way over here, which should be 150 meters, 150, the height of Blackpool Tower and more beneath Earth curve. And yeah, I mean, it's just stunning that they got this wrong. I mean,
You know, what it is a form of dissonance where they create something like to correct you. It's false, but they believe it. And the people who watch it on the SciManDan channel have that choice to, well, believe this nonsense.
Indeed.
So that's where the power really is that the cognitive dissonance allows people to say, well, this butthole's right and Ranty's wrong.
Well, so this is from the video. So we had an observation of the Douglas complex, which is here. Then we had the buoy, which I've just placed a line for a buoy here. I'm not entirely sure that's the exact position of it, but it's just for reference. The next angle as we go in to the left is the boat, which would be here. And then finally, as we scan across to the right, we start hitting these turbines. So we start to hit these turbines here. Now, just for an idea of the map itself, as I zoom in, there's the turbines, there's turbine 55 and 56, and yet he's claiming, and SciManDan is claiming, that this area down here, this one, is the mast that we're looking through. Because that will take you to a mountain that's 1,000 meters tall. This line of sight will take you to a hill that should be long gone to Earth curve. Long gone to Earth curve. And yet SciManDan and Arctic Reflections have punted this. Do you know how many wind turbines there were between this Met mast down here and the Douglas complex? So when he was scanning through the video, if he had counted the wind turbines, he would have got a rough guess of between, let's say, 55 and 60 turbines to get to the Met mast. But including all of these wind turbines here, here and here, there was a total of 199 turbines to get to that Met mast. 199. Now, if he'd watched the video and counted them, he'd have thought, I didn't count to 199 wind turbines. It can't be the right place. But he didn't do that, did he? No, he didn't. He didn't do that. He didn't use different maps. He didn't look at all the sources to get the information about what is
wouldn't have lined up with his predetermined outcome he needed.
Exactly. This is so embarrassing for SciManDan. Imagine punting somebody and giving them a big thumbs up and doing a whole video about me on this video when he was wrong the whole time. Can you imagine that? Do you think he's going to do a retraction video?
No, because again, it's a choice of belief. Those sheep that want to defend against really better life and better knowledge, and deny this reality that the earth they live on is flat.
You're just here for the money, Randy.
It would seem so, wouldn't it? It would seem so. Look at the map that he used. So this is the map that he used. So he went to this place called GPSnauticalcharts.com. This is the map that he used. So when you scroll in, you start to see the wind turbines appear. Can you see that this is the location? You've got Formby over here, you've got Liverpool down here, Llandudno, and these are the start of the turbines. As you zoom in more, you start to see more of these turbines. So obviously this is the Ormond wind farm here, and he's picked out this point here as being the location. And to be fair, I have to be fair, in the map it doesn't show another object of that here. It just shows a yellow cross, right? But that's not my problem. That's his lack of research, that he wasn't able to go and find that same mast by using a different source. The different source than the one he should have used was this here, which was the global offshore wind farm 4COffshore.com. And when you scroll in here on this map, what it actually does is it actually tells you where these Met masts are. Let's scroll in. So let's scroll in here. You can actually see there's one of the Met masts here. As you zoom in, you can see it says Met mast. And when we go further up and we look at the other turbines down here, you'll see there's another Met mast. Exactly, there we go. Here it is. Met mast, exactly in the position of the line of sight which I put out on my video. Exactly the same. Met mast. There we go. SciManDan, absolutely. I mean, I just can't believe that they didn't do the research on this. It's just terrible.
He mustn't have checked Arctic Reflections video at all.
No.
Like, he mustn't have even...
I think he wants to do any real work, the guy?
No, well, he's taken somebody else's video, debunking video. Like, he hasn't even made his own debunking video this time. Not only does he have no content, he's taking other people's debunking videos now. My goodness, how can anyone watch that guy?
He hasn't pointed a camera at the horizon probably in his life.
In his life. He probably hasn't been outside much in his life.
Right, let's watch this video just one last time, because this is for the audience's point, because we're going to count. Was it 199 wind turbines, or was it 55, 56? Which was it? Let's have a look.
If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth.
That's never going to get old. If we have picked the right turbine, we live on a flat Earth. That's turbine 10. This is for reference for the Globers that are in the chat right now. Flat Earthers don't really need to do this because they can count. But what I decided to do was actually count the wind turbines and put a red box around each one as we go along. So that's number 20. And as you can see, we're moving to the left. We're moving to the left here. There's turbine 30.
Moving back and to the left. Back and to the left.
Yep. We're moving to the left. There's turbine 40. Okay, let's keep going. Because we started off at the Douglas complex. Now we come to turbine 50. There we go. There's 50, 51, 52, 53, 54. There's 55. And there's the mast. That's 55. Yeah, that one there. There's the mast. There's 56, 57, 58, 59. There's 55 and 56. And behind it is the mountain they don't want to talk about. That little, well, I say it's a mountain, that hill they don't want to talk about. And now I'm doing it in reverse so that they can count it backwards as well to see. And they can recount it and count the same amount. And it will end up all the way back at the Douglas complex. Now that can only happen from that position if I've got the correct mountain in the distance. It's as simple as that. Very, very easy. And why he didn't do this research himself, I don't know. Here we go, we're going to end up back at the Douglas complex. There we go. So there's the video. All done, all dusted. Happy days.
If it is the right turbine and is the right mountain, then the Earth is the flat.
Yeah, he's just said that, hasn't he? I mean, he has said that. If it's the right turbine, then the Earth is
the
flat.
delivery of it is a perfect clip.
So, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant soundbite.
Where you turned on, Jimbo? Did you get the horn?
So here we go. Douglas complex buoy, the boat, all these turbines that add up to between 55 and 56 take you right between the Met mast and the mountain range in the distance. Should we do the calculations on that? Should we just do it again in case SciManDan's unsure? Let's do the calculations in these distances, right? Okay, so from the observer point, way down here.
I think his brains leaked out his ears a long time ago, SciManDan.
He's desperate for content, and he'll just believe any old hack that comes on and thinks that they can show a globe, show things behind Earth's curve. You know, that just doesn't happen.
You can put up anything anyway and make money because of the CD, the cognitive dissonance.
Okay, so there's the Met mast here. There's turbine 56. So on the route we're looking at 254.17 degrees, 254.17, and what do you know? It takes you to the mountain, 254.17, right down here, 254.17. There we go, 254.17. Takes you to the mountain or the hill that I actually said it was originally. Very long way away. Toadie's in the chat. Let's put the properties in it. Let's see how far that actually was. Measurements 51.8 miles. Oh dearie me.
Is that far?
51.8 miles. And do you know that this isn't very high? This isn't very high. It's 150 meters high. 51.8.
know the Earth is flat. He knows.
Yeah.
How could you not, Ranty? Honest to God, we can relate in straight line distances in our everyday life, maybe a mile or something like that. 58 miles, and their best argument is why is the bottom of the things cut off? Come on, when we do the scaling, which is what they're all about, you got what, 50 meters, what, 100 feet or something against what, 50 miles? Work that out in feet, SciManDan.
51.8 miles, and the observer height was in metric. It was 22 meters. And
that is mad.
Yeah. So
get Blue Marble. Get Blue Marble on. Where's Blue Marble? He's a member of your Discord. Get on here, Blue Marble, and do a scale down cross section of that view we have. Right?
Yeah.
You don't understand.
Even with refraction,
He
200
needs to take geometric consideration.
even with refraction, 286.
That's a good cartoon voice.
286 meters hidden. Just the geometric hidden was 350 meters, and the highest point on that hill was approximately 150 meters. So there's a huge discrepancy there, a huge discrepancy between what we saw in the video and what should be hidden to Earth curvature. Yeah, huge.
Like 50 miles. That's quite a distance.
It is, and
Quite the
you can. Everyone can see the mountain behind it. I'm going to take a screenshot of that, and
On a better day, you'd probably see more of it.
The one thing in common with all observations is the observer. Ultimately, it comes back to us and our eyesight, how it works, right? But look, who are you fighting against here? What's this guy up for? I think they're all being so careless, purposefully, really, because they have nothing left. They have nothing at all left.
what am I showing to you guys right now? Am I showing paint? Yeah.
Stream paused.
I just stream paused.
Stream pause.
I need to refresh.
Oh, right, okay, one sec. So, screen. Yeah, so basically, just for the audience's sake and for your sake, I've just taken a screenshot from the video, history reversed. There's turbine 55 here. That's turbine 55. That's turbine 56. And there's the Met mast, right? And behind it, you can see the hill. You know, behind it, you can see the hill.
I'll tell you something, just to butt in. Those turbines are not for your household electricity sort of needs. Definitely not. There's something else going on. They're like a part of CERN, a part of HARP, etc. But yeah, I mean, the game is over with whatever he's trying to say here. I mean, just definitely for views. Flat Earthers here. We need to.
But you can't prove that, Pete.
Well,
can you prove that though? I get what you're saying, Pete, but we shouldn't just make baseless assertions.
Prove it to who, though? I mean, is Randy going to prove anything to SciManDan with his conclusiveness here?
I think we're getting a bit off topic, you know.
Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
I'd like
No,
to
no,
get
no.
through this and maybe 5 minutes in the Giants and then, shut up.
Oh, we want to talk about Giants. I get it.
I wouldn't mind,
Hey, this Funky Friday, Jim. I'd love to hear that.
Funky Friday.
All right, let's talk about Giants then.
Go on, finish up with this.
Hold on one sec, guys. Toady says the turbines really look like they are in front of the mast in your map. Oh my goodness. So, right, okay. So you can't understand perspectives, Toady. That's fine. But you can definitely add up, yeah? You can definitely add up, and you can definitely see that we were looking at the Douglas complex, and I presume that you can count to 55, right? Because that's turbine 55, there's the Met mast, and there's turbine 56. So just because you think that due to perspective, you might believe that you're thinking that you're seeing the Met mast behind the turbines, that's not my problem. I'm asking you to count here. Right? Once you count, you know where you're looking. You have a heading. Once you have your heading, you know that you're looking at the distant land that I pointed out in my original video that should be long gone to Earth curve. In fact, you could put Blackpool Tower on top of the hill and you still shouldn't be able to see it. It's that bad for the globe. And not just not see it, it would still be beneath the horizon, even if you stuck Blackpool Tower on it. So the fact that we're seeing essentially a huge amount of this hill, not just a little bit, it's a ginormous part of the hill that we're looking at right now. Can you see how much we're seeing of it, Toady?
And not only that, the detail in the hill at the top to the left, you can see trees, separate trees.
Toady.
There's a big difference between 55 and a couple of hundred. It's not as if it's only one or two different and you might have, not seen one somewhere or something. There's a big difference between counting that small amount and a couple of hundred.
So there we go.
They'll do anything not to see, won't they?
Yep.
It's amazing.
So I wonder if SciManDan and Arctic Reflections are going to do a retraction video. This is what I put out on my post earlier. I would think that it's quite conclusive that in this particular day, on this particular observation, we saw the hill that I said we saw. It's very simple. Why would they try and claim it would be something else? If they want to argue refraction, fine. Yeah.
Retraction.
Let him put a
They
video
would argue
out.
something else, because if you pick the right windmill or wind turbine and the right mountain, then we live on a flat Earth, and obviously they can't let that happen.
Exactly.
Oh, I've got to play that video again, haven't I? Let's get this clip. Ready. Screen. Film. There we go. Yeah, listen to this, guys.
Flat Earth. If we have chosen the right
I love the way it
mountain
says your
and
name
the
too.
right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth. If we have chosen the right mountain and the right wind turbine, we live on a flat Earth.
Is he saying vine turbine, or is he trying to say wind?
I think it's wind, but I'm guessing he has an accent. Bind.
Yeah.
Wind turbine.
Bind instead of using
turbine.
the W as a V.
Yeah, the B is a V sometimes for some people too.
Okay, so listen.
Okay.
So Helen Degenerates has asked me to play his video. I'll have a look for your channel. I think I'm a member, so just give me a couple of minutes to find it. And then we will get into the giants, I promise.
It's like spinning balls for SciManDan, or spinning plates, because every single first of all, they're dead straight away at 51 miles. All that shit has gone well over the curvature, right? So now they have to start invoking different refraction explanations, different phenomena, anomalies in the sky that allow us to see something we directly can see, so take us away from our direct experience and senses. You know what I mean? So spinning plates in that sense. But of course, there is a greater game going on, and let me just say, as flat earthers, we should try look at that windmill with all those windmills. I couldn't believe there's that many, right? But and try explain how there is blockage. And let me just say this goes back to this extended span and scaling the z-axis. It's not the same way as the x and the y-axis, but
Okay, right,
it's
listen.
down screen. I fucking nearly shit myself.
Right, listen, let's play. It's only a minute and a half. It's from Helen Degenerates. He's in the chat right now, so this is his video that he's put together. I haven't seen it yet, so it'll be fresh to you as fresh to me. Let's see what he's found with Gem Panda. Here we go.
The only way it's broken is because the fact that you're trying to say that we're near to a near perfect vacuum. You're the one who's stating that it's broken. You're the one who's stating that we live in a violation. We don't claim that.
I've never stated that. Where we live, it complies with the laws of thermodynamics.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. But that's not the point. The point is the statement, you can't have gas pressure without a container, cannot be falsified. There's no way to falsify
that is our question. That's our question to the globe model. The globe model claims.
That's a problem from me. It's a problem. Look, it's not, I'm not saying I can't do it, I'm not able to do it. I'm saying there's no logical possible way that it could be done.
What? Anybody know what Michelle Thaler is?
Astrophysicist.
We'll hear from her. Let's
science
hear from her.
Science communicator, astrophysicist, works for NASA.
Perfect. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Michelle Thaler, NASA scientist and communicator.
I actually think of myself as a very complicated rock. I am made of things like iron and copper and manganese. When you sit down on a mountainside and you're there with a rock, those are your cousins too.
Speak for yourself, loser.
Hang on, Peach didn't laugh at all, because I agree with Gem Panda, and I also agree with the greater sentiment expressed.
Yeah, but do you know why they're all laughing, Pete?
I do.
You know why we're all laughing?
But hang on, they're laughing. Hang on, please. They're laughing, and you're laughing at Gem Panda's original statement, right? I think it's absolutely true, because remember, science can only deal in the known. If you come across a phenomena and you go through the scientific process, you can only offer up any possibilities in terms of causes via what is known or what is considered. and that's all. And that's what Jen
Yeah,
Panda
we're
was
laughing
saying.
because he conceded.
Well, I think you need to listen again, man. Think about it.
Yeah, play it again. He
You don't have to
conceded
play
that
it
it
again. You need to
cannot
listen
be
again
done.
to it.
Right.
What actually he's saying.
I've listened to it 5 times now. It's hilarious.
Listen, in a real way, you
He's
are rock, but you have to
conceding.
define what a rock is. Excuse me, man. You have to define what a
No,
rock
man.
actually is.
Come
We've
on,
been
man.
told what a rock is in a spinning ball Earth sense, but
Oh,
in
no,
a real
that's
sense.
not. No, that's Michelle
All
Thaler.
right.
She's a retard.
All right, I'm just saying. Listen, that sounds
Jen
like what kind
Panda
of shit
said
is
something
that?
completely different.
I never heard that video before. It's a Friday night. I'm in a good form, and I agree with what Jen Panda said because I've considered it and I brought it up before, especially
Rock
to Nathan
lives matter.
What is a rock? If I throw a rock and hit someone in the head, that's a rock.
What is a rock, Jim? In
No, but
relation to giants, I'm
Michelle
sure that'll
Thaler
come
says
up
he's
later
a
on in
peasant.
giants.
Well, it'll
Yeah,
come
rock
up
is a
because
peasant.
we're gonna start seeing some stuff,
Sure.
and it relates to rocks and
Exactly.
formation.
And what are we, Jim? We're made from the dust, right? The dust of what? So we're made of component parts.
Certainly
That's
from
all.
clay. We're certainly
These
made from clay.
people, right, these scientists here, they're clue givers. I'm telling you that. Every fucker knows that the Earth is flat. They're playing their part, especially the Neil deGrasse Tysons, the
Clues in our
SciManDan.
lives are no clues. They're meant to send you down rabbit holes.
No, right,
So ignore the clues.
or
Find out the riddle on your own. Forget these clues and these games these people play. Put it to the back and go forward with like a blank slate. And don't have their garbage to deal with.
No, Jim. You need a creator. You need a direction, man.
Yeah, creator is not man.
No, I'm saying you, man. You need a direction because, Jim, the evolutionary history to us is taken away, right? The blind evolutionary history to us is taken away. So therefore, there's a greater purpose in all of this. And by paying attention to the clues.
Right, okay, guys. Before they get into their daily row, which is probably likely to kick off any moment now, I really want to ask you guys to do me a favour. You've just seen the live debunk of SciManDan, right? So, seeing as he sent all the trolls to me, would it be remiss of me to ask you to do a little bit of trolling on my behalf? I think that's only fair, just to go back and say, hey, dude, you screwed up. You got it wrong. You know, something like that. Let me put the link in anyway. Let me put the link in. It's there. It's in the chat right now. So if you want to, right now, maybe head on over. Give him a little bit of trolling back. Fight fire with fire, you know. These Globers, they've had it too good for too long. 1 dislike on Arctic Reflections video and 200 and odd likes? Come on. That's not the norm in this arena. That's not the norm at all. Come on, guys, get your asses over there, thumb down his video, leave a comment, tell him that he screwed up, tell him he's a bit of an idiot, and tell him to retract his video, and then maybe explain how we saw that mountain on a globe. I would like to see that. I would like to see him nail his masts to the cause, or his core, whatever it is his own argument here. I want to see what he's going to do when he's actually put under a little bit of pressure, and you guys can do that. Just come back. You know, don't just bugger off and come back, but come back. Just go and leave a comment and let him know he screwed up. That would be awesome. Right. Hopefully these guys have stopped their arguing right now. Let's see.
They've had all the great minds to work, so you know what I mean. They'll have an answer to everything until you go simple, right? And that's where we're all at. We went simple. No proof for Earth movement, no proof for rotundity. Therefore, there's a different game in play because I'm not smarter than your average bear. I fucking know that.
So anyway, whilst you two were arguing again, I asked my audience to go over and pay SciManDan a visit and just say, hey, you screwed up, you got it wrong. I think that's only fair, isn't it? To sort of like poke the bear a little bit and let him know that he's...
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, us as flat earthers, we generally, you know, just let things slide and we don't really fight back. But these guys, it's all they ever do. So how about a bit of trolling back? I think it's only fair. And poor Arctic Reflections, I'm going to put his link out in a minute too, and I'm going to ask everyone to go over there again and leave another comment, because I want SciManDan to tell us how we saw that mountain. Yeah? That's what I want him to do. Tell us how we saw the mountain. I want to see him say the words refraction loomed it up from beyond Earth curvature. Because then we'll get him in an argument. Then we'll get him in a bit of back and forth. Show us this looming that you claim thou has. Don't just say thou has it.
Thou hast refraction.
Thou has refraction. Thou must go and prove it then. Instead of sitting in...
Show thou refraction.
Exactly. Sitting in thou little corner, in thou little new room. How about gets one off arse and goes and does some experimentations to show your claim? I mean, he is the most eminent globe earther, right? With the biggest globe earth channel. It's only fair that he leads the way in telling people how this stuff magically works and demonstrating it. That would be another way.
Just in case someone in the audience wasn't sure who was speaking back then, that was a Page, our resident Shakespearean Australian. Just
Australian.
Shout out to the Gadget Inspector, who says done and with a thumbs down. Awesome. There we go. Right, okay, so Toadie is interesting. He's actually around tonight. Toadie, why don't you join? I mean, it'd be easier than just talking in the chat. We're not going to jump down your throats. You've been on the show many a time before, and we haven't spoken for a while.
Yeah,
actually.
Toadie's been on before.
Yeah, he's one of them. He's one of the calmer side of the globe earthers. He's actually nice to talk to. So if he's got some time, what's he put? It's a shame. It's all about being right or wrong, and nobody really unpacks this stuff properly. It's complex, and just counting turbines is not enough. I think you need to be sure about the mass.
Oh, wow.
No, simple gotta be complicated.
There's a sound there somewhere.
I look with my camera, I focus, I take pictures, and what's there is there. It's what you see is what you get. It's in front of the lens, or it's not.
Yes, let me just say that I am 100% sure that the mast is the mast, and I'm just going to show this again for the audience, because I'm not happy to just leave it at that point, because it is a kind of like an ambiguous, what if you got it wrong kind of thing. The mast is right here. Do you see what it says there? Do you see that little wording there? Let me turn it around so that you can see. I'm not sure that I'm showing you guys in the chat right now, but it says, this is for Toadie. Met mast. There we go. It says, you see that? It says met mast, Toadie, right? And met mast here, this met mast, falls between turbine 55 and 56 of the wind turbines from his observational point. Met mast. Now, you just saw me play the video. I even had it in slow, and I counted the wind turbines, Toadie, and it came between 55 and 56. The turbines came, the met mast came between turbine 55 and 56, exactly where C4 Offshore Wind Farms has placed the met mast, right? Now then, Arctic Reflections agrees that it's a met mast in the video, but he claims that the met mast is number 199 to 200 turbines from right to left. In other words, you would have to count to nearly 200. In fact, you would have to count to 200 to get to the met mast. 199 wind turbines, and then the final 200 would be the met mast. That's how far you would have to count. Now, if you really want to, I'll play the video again, and I hope you can count and see whether or not it comes to 200 or 55. Let's just do that. Let's just add this up and see whether or not it comes to...
Is he counting 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24? Like, is that what he's doing to get to his 200?
Because it's Friday, Paige, I have a drinking sort of game. 199 turbines sitting on the horizon.
On the
199 turbines.
Let's do it. I'll tell you what.
And if one of those turbines is behind the Earth curve...
It should actually refract downwards.
Right. Here we go. Right. Let's count the turbines, guys. Let's count the turbines together. Right. So tell me when you can see the wind. My video. Can you see it?
That's
Right,
hilarious.
let's count the turbines. Right, okay, all
Come
together.
up.
Right, here we go. 1, 2, 3,
1, 2, 3,
4, 5,
5,
6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
That's
8,
number 10. That's number 10. Yeah, I've even put a red marker around it. There we go. 10,
Yeah.
11, 12, 13, 14,
14,
15, 16, 17, 18,
16, 17, 18, 19,
20.
That should be
Yep,
20.
boom.
Yep,
That's
you
20,
got that
right?
one.
Okay. 21, 22, 23,
21,
24.
22, 23, 24. 25 that should be. 26,
Yep.
27, 28, 29. So it should be 30 about there.
Yep, turbine 30. Here we go. We're getting there. Come on, Toadie, you can do it. You can do it, Toadie. Come on. Count. Can you get to 40? Come on. Here we go. There we go. Turbine 40. Look at that. Come on, we've got to get to 200 though. Don't forget, we've got to get to 200 if we get to here. So here's turbine 50. It's just gone. Oh, but we've run out of space now. Look at that. That bloody Met mast is there, of all places. Can you believe that? It's right after turbine 55. Oh, Toadie, I am so sorry, mate. It didn't make it to 200.
Nowhere bloody near it.
Stole out my box prematurely, or else this is a funky Friday indeed. What did you do last night? I was counting turbines on Ranties.
Yeah. Oh, it didn't get to 200, Toadie. I am so sorry, mate. As much as you want it to. I mean, unless, no, I don't know. It just didn't get to 200, did it?
Yeah, just don't double down, Toby. Like, seriously. Oh man, this is so bad. They want to hold on to that ball so badly.
They do. They do.
It does my head in.
They do. Never mind. What can I say?
What about all that mirroring, Ranty? What about all that mirroring?
The mirroring. The mirroring. I didn't see much mirroring in it, to be fair.
That aspect of the mountain has disappeared behind. When that mirrored water layer starts, it goes all the way to whatever target interrupts it, I guess, in the background. Well, where's Toadie anyway? This fucker hasn't been in ages and ages, like the rest of them. It's like the celebrities.
Well,
someone's telling me all the celebrities are disappearing. It's like the ball earthers as well. They're all sort of whittling down. I like that. And, sort of giving them deflated.
Oh, look at this. Howard Moore says, childish bunch. Childish bunch. Listen, I put a video. Right, I tell you what. Let me just nail this down for you, Anthony Burrows. Right. We have one of my subscribers that was in the chat who took time out of his life to go to this location, drive there, set up, and do an observation, right? So he went to Formby with his P900 or P1000, I think it was actually P1000, and he took this observation. He then came home, contacted me, and then he uploaded a file, sent it me by email, which I then took, and then I downloaded, and I checked what was on the video because he wasn't too sure. Then after a couple of hours of research and plotting out all the turbines and finding the exact location of where we were actually looking at, I then decided to make a video about it, which took a further hour and a half. I then put the video out, which is a perfect flat earth proof, and is certainly not a globe earth proof, and then I get globe earthers just making ridiculous claims and getting the wrong fucking turbines wrong. They're getting the wrong Met mast wrong. Now, who's the one that's being a childish bunch here? Was it the people that have gone out of the way to actually go and do the observation, put the research into it, put a video out and actually document it correctly? Was it those people? Or is it the fact that I now have to go and do a partial show to show that people like SciManDan and Arctic Reflections fucked up and didn't do the research? Who is the one being childish? Howard Moore.
Well said, Ranty.
Who deflated Howard Moore? Why and what's the reason for?
Fucking monk.
So as soon as they're losing, they'll attack, insult you.
That guy
tell you
is
you're childish or whatever.
Listen, that guy has been here since 2015 with the same spiel. That's all.
Yeah.
And look, Ranty, that effort and work you put into is categorical, and it proves the case, right? But there's no justice in this fucking ball earth world. We're preaching to the walls, you know what I mean? You might as well as preach to SciManDan and all of his
Yeah, we're
followers.
definitely
Who, by the
preaching to the
way,
lost.
right, well, they're not lost, Page. They fucking know the earth is flat. Look at SciManDan's hand movements, Jimbo. I was going to say that. These are all sort of, programming, and he's been trained and instructed. It's all unnatural. He's not a good actor, but, that's what I'm saying, is a different game and play. Any response? Have you ever got any all the fucking thousands? This is why I don't put any effort into anything I do. I know the truth is out there already, but all the thousands of hours you've done and there's excellent fucking observations, conclusions, forget about what's happening in reality. The ball is dead a million ways to Sunday. Have you ever got any satisfaction from any ball earther whatsoever? Ever?
No.
We
I tried
don't
again
get
yesterday.
no
You
satisfaction.
never ever get it.
Shout out to Rob. Hold on. Shout out to Rob Keedy says for a $5 super chat. Thank you. Worth calling Howard Moore shit. Awesome super chat, mate. Thank you.
Add Howard Moore a little line or two. That's from a Bob Dylan song. Is who killed Davy Moore? Who killed Davy Moore? Why and what's the reason for? He was a boxer.
So Toady doesn't seem to understand. Toady still doesn't seem to understand perspective. Toady, as you look further away, things compress. So you could get 20 miles of water, let's say, in just a few pixels. Just a few little insy-witsy pixels. And yet, when you're much closer, and you're maybe looking at some water that's maybe just 5 miles away, you can get a whole mile of water in 150 pixels. It's just perspective. So when you're asking me how they seem to line up at the horizon, it's just a function of perspective. Those turbines and the mast all look that sort of height because they're all occupying the same amount of pixels in the same very narrow, very cramped space at a very long distance, Toady. It is all about perspective, and I told you this before, and you still keep asking the same question. It's very silly of you, Toady.
And being able to count those wind turbines means you don't have to rely just on perspective to figure out where you are.
Let's take Toady as being an honest inquirer. There are genuine questions in play here, but
what have you done with PJ?
No, hang on, please. Look, when we're looking at that
telling us to take him as honest. Oh my God.
But look, we have to look. We'll take him. He representing the current theory. Actually, let me say this. I was just listening back earlier on to Nathan Oakley's show a couple of days ago, and I think it was Paul. I'm sure it was Paul who asked, "What do we do to validate what is questions? I.e., when it comes to our reality, any sort of ventures into those areas." And I never heard Nathan as quiet. He had nothing to say. And ultimately, my friends, this is what it's all about. You know what I mean? This is the whole thing. We have to venture into new areas, but we also understand we're not actually venturing into new areas. The truth is known. But when it came...
No, there's nothing new under the sun.
Right. Well, just briefly going back to the other, you get no validation from the ball earth side whatsoever. When it comes to what's actually going on, we need to clarify that horizon, or that apparent horizon, how far we may think it is. And then when we take that bunch of turbines into account, right, how that scales in relation to our reckoning to how far the horizon is, as opposed to the greater distance, which is the landmass beyond. And I haven't looked at any of this. I don't even know what you're talking about. Was that guy with the foreign accent, was he on the flat earth side or the ball earth side?
Oh, he was a globe earther.
Really?
Yeah. Listen, I'm showing this for Toady because I don't know if they don't understand perspective, and I pull my hair out having to actually try and explain this because it's like
clown hair.
I don't have any hair to pull out, but I tell you, I'm losing more by the day having to explain this stuff. It's basic stuff, right? This square here is taking up a lot of pixels. Let me change that to a bloody thingy there. There you go. That square is taking up a lot of pixels. The further away we go, that square is now taking up all of that space. all of that space at the end of the hallway, Toadie. Here it's just taking up 1 foot, let's say, if we call these 1 foot segments. Now it's taking up 500 feet of floor. 1 foot, 500 feet. Yeah? Perspective. Perspective. And you could...
This is key.
Yeah,
This is
so
key, Ranty.
so when you get to this point up here, and it's so far away, and you've got a turbine there, and you've got another turbine, and let's suppose that this turbine is half a mile nearer, right? Let's suppose this is half a mile nearer. It's imperceivable. It's imperceivable. It's maybe there. Imperceivable, because it occupies the same general location of the pixels in this particular field of view. And when he's going on about this this Met mast, I don't know why he's going on about the Met mast, because it's quite clear that it is the Met mast. Let's place the Met mast just a tad nearer there. So let's put the Met mast a tiny bit nearer. There you go. The Met mast is right next to the first turbine, but it is nearer, right? What happens when we scroll all the way back, Toadie? What happens? Can you even tell it now? Can you see? Does it look like it's on the same level to you right now? Or do you think it's nearer? Does it look nearer? Is it not nearer? And then you've got to take into account the optics that was going on, the fact that it was coming up to dusk, the fact that everything was getting dark, the fact that the area was all just becoming a little bit... there was so much information in those few pixels that you just got a very small bit of distortion just around the horizon like that. Dead simple, Toadie. I just can't believe you're even asking these questions. It's just basic stuff, basic photography and basic perspective.
See, you're talking to the chat, Ranty. I never pay attention to the chat when I'm focused on having a conversation, but as flat earthers, we need to have 4 identifiers here, right? Where is the horizon? First of all, the visible horizon that appears to us. Identify the distance to that. Identify the distance to the nearest turbine and the furthest turbine, and also identify the distance to the landmass at the back. And you can take, at a fundamental level, the truth, I guess, that you're seeing to the base itself. If there's some distortion, it's minimal, right? But you understand what Toadie will never admit is that you're looking over an extended span. But this is what, and you just said it yourself, Ranty, when we look at the further pixels encapsulating, remember, 2-dimensional representation to us, encapsulating the greater distance, then greater distances of water will be compressed to our vision, and water is reflective. So the other thing they have to identify is the mirror line. So when you look at the apparent horizon, there's going to be a mirror line with all of the objects along, as he goes all the way along. Whoever took that image or that video, excellent. As he goes all the way along the horizon, that mirror layer is always there because it's a function of the z-axis distance we're looking into, and water compressing over that ever acuteness of viewing angle.
And here's another thing. Toadie still doesn't understand perspective. This is so bad. So bad. It's unbelievable.
The truth, Ranty, he can't do that.
It's unbelievable. He's looking at something that's backlit. The sun sets behind these mountain ranges over here, right? The sun sets behind it. Everything you are looking at is backlit. You're seeing shadows. That's all you're looking at. It's not got the sun on it. It's everything is in shadow. The mountain range is in shadow. The turbines are in shadow. The mast is in shadow. And he's trying to say, rather unsuccessfully, that this mast is behind this turbine. This turbine blade is actually in front of it. But actually, if you scroll in, you can still make out that the mast, I can actually see it on my screen anyway, I don't know if you can see it, but you can actually see that the mast is in front of the turbine, so it is nearer. But anyway, you still wouldn't be able to see it generally in perspective view in this format because you're looking into shadows. This is shadow, that's shadow. It all looks the same. This turbine is not in front of this mast. It is just a function of perspective and light. I can't believe I'm having to explain this. Right, Gentlest channel. The blade looks to be in front of the mast, Ranty. How does a more distant object cover a closer one? Well, it's just literally what I've been explaining. You would have saved yourself £5 there if you'd have just waited just a second and I just explained it. The mast, this Met mast here, this, is not behind that turbine blade. You can actually see it. I can see it on this high resolution monitor that I've got here. There's a darker area here. It's darker than this part. And you can tell them that therefore that there's a doubling effect of the shadows. But everything's in shadow anyway. Everything's in shadow. It's just ridiculous that they would still argue that this is not the right. How retarded are these people? Guys, I mean, can you believe this? That they're arguing about where this, about if the Met mast, trying to do an observation and to tell whether or not the Met mast.
With so little now as an arsenal of defense, they're coming up with more and more absurd, less thought out, you know.
Yeah.
Debunked or whatever
So,
you want to. They're becoming absolutely, well, more than
well,
laughable. They're just nonsensical.
Let's do this another way. We all watched as we were looking at the Douglas complex and the camera was panned to the left and the next thing it saw was a buoy, and then the next thing it saw after that was a boat, and then the next thing we saw after that was the very first wind turbine, which would have been this wind turbine here, right? That's what we all saw in the video. And then what we did, we counted the wind turbines that are in this wind turbine field, and you will see that this turbine field down here, the line of sight doesn't even reach by then, so it definitely wasn't anything to do with these turbines, right? In fact, the only wind turbines it could have possibly been was from Ormond here. And then all you have to do is count to number 55 and number 56, and that puts you directly at this point here where the Met mast is. I mean, this is so stupid to then try and argue, well, how come the turbine, the blade, looks like it's in front of the Met mast? It's ridiculous. Everything's in shadow. Are they that stupid that they're grasping that they just can't understand the video? It's ridiculous.
Yes, they're grasping, they're desperate. They're fools. It shouldn't upset you so much. You've seen it enough. You have experience with this, Randy. It's 3 times now you've gone over it. It's almost like Nathan with the Coriolis.
Yeah. Jim wants to talk about giants.
We will talk about giants. I'm just going to play. I'm just for the very last time. This is for the last time. I am just going to put a couple of minutes of that video back on, and then we're going to giant talk. We're definitely going to giant talk. What did I? SciManDan. I don't want his thingy on. This is just for the audience. So if you were going to start on the prelims for the giants, by all means. Do you want to start?
Your fingers are going to do a little yellow paging there through Google Earth just for a few minutes.
Ah, right, okay. Well, in that case then, just so that the audience knows what we're doing now.
Shouldn't we make Jim present his own evidence for giants?
I don't know, should we?
Would you kiss my ass and keep your nose out of shit, buddy?
Hell no. This is an open panel, Jimbo. You calm down. I just want to see evidence. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what to do. I simply asked a question.
Niggers.
Sorry, Jim.
Okay, right, so I need to kick out PMARS there. There we go. Ban PMARS. Just ban him. Boom. There we go. I got him out really quick. In fact, I had him out quicker than most times that he's been in before. That was quick. I got PMARS out of there like nobody's business. I had him on mute within a second. So that was pretty cool. Right, just for the audience, right, just so the audience knows, this is the platform that we were talking about, if we go back to the, if we go down here and you've got the Douglas complex, that's the Douglas complex that we're looking at. And then we're going to play the video, and it pans across. You're going to see a buoy, then a boat, and then the wind turbines, and you're going to count. And when you get to number 55 and 56, you're going to see a Met mast, which is here. And you can get the same map from C4 Offshore Wind Farm, which is the map I always use. It's dead simple. And then you'll know where you're looking. You'll know where you're looking. So I'm going to play it from there. There's Douglas Complex. You're going to pan to the left. You're going to watch that. Yeah, guys, tell me what happened with PMARS there. What happened? What happened? He was coming. He was saying the N-word, wasn't he?
Yeah, a few times, but you nipped it in the bud.
I got him. Don't know why he does that. I don't know what his issue is. You know.
Okay, I just want Jimbo to be clear. Jimbo, I do agree that there were giants in those days, and there are now. I don't disagree with your claim about giants. I don't make claims without supporting my own evidence.
That's okay. I've been on them for about at least 3 years now. I have thousands of images in files. And again, Ranty's visual, the first thing I'm going to request that he does is do a little Google. So however I approach, I'm not here to prove anything or be debunked or...
I hear you.
I'm here to chit-chat and show some stuff like anyone else. This isn't a
I
challenge or a competition.
I love the Giants topic myself. That's why I wanted to get on with it too. I just don't want there to be any animosity between you and I.
No,
we're probably on the same page.
Yeah. None of us are each other's whores.
Okay, so listen, I've just banned PMARS from the chat as well. Apparently, Ian Adams said that that he said it in the chat as well.
PMARS just needs some friends, is what he.
And a better psychiatrist.
Hey, you need something.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Right, okay, so anyway, so...
Hang on, what do you mean PMARS is banned? Let PMARS alone. PMARS, get in here to Discord and start talking like...
No, I can't risk it. I can't... Listen, at the end of the day, there's plenty of other people that will come in and want to have a chat rather than running the risk of that foul-mouthed guy coming in and saying the stuff he does. What do you mean, what did he say? He came in and he was saying the N-word.
The N-word. He said nigger, did he? That's the worst anyone can do. It's okay to say words as long as you don't point them at somebody.
As far as you
I understand why PMARS does it, but the thing is, with no context, to just come in and start saying it, it's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. No context at all. He just blurts it out.
Well, let me educate you, right, on PMARS. What is it? Anyone here, Ranty, Jimbo? What is the topic that PMARS focuses in on in general? And all the years he's been here, how could you sort of pin on his that? Exactly. Exactly. And 1984, as we've all surely read more than once, right? This is the core foundational sort of aspect of control, right? Once you control the words, the thoughts, go before that in the sense, but this is why PMARS has been provocative in that sense. That word isn't dangerous. We all live in countries. I said it to my mother, hates that word, right? Hates the word cunt. And fair enough. I asked her, where do you live? And she thought about it, and she after a while, and then she hit her. She lives in a country, but she can't say it because she just told me that the word cunt is so terrible. But she has to say country.
That's why I said context is important. But to come in and just say the stupid word for the sake of saying it.
There's a lot of Haitians and other taxi drivers. They're black, and they use the N-word with each other endlessly all day. But that's okay. But people don't understand why it's okay for them and not really for us. So
and your children listen to music, not your children, Jim.
Right, okay, listen.
Dude, he just blurted it out. He had nothing else to say.
Right, listen. I want to get onto Giants. I'm not going into that Right, let's go on to giants for now, because that's what I wanted to talk about.
Awesome. You got Google Earth you can present?
Google Earth? Right, okay.
Hell yeah, Bo.
What do you want me to...
think a nigger is scary? A giant nigger.
Right, calm down, Pete. Calm down, Pete. Right, okay, so...
You guys are making it really hard to get this job done.
Right, let's have a look. So where do you want me to go?
Portland, Oregon. West Coast, United States. South of Vancouver, BC.
That's like half an hour from here.
Okay, Portland. There we go. Now where?
Back out a bit. A little more. A little more. Stop. Too much. In a little bit and get rid of those tree markers and stuff.
Huh. Alright, hang on.
I've been to Portland.
Can you get rid of all those icons and stuff?
Yeah, I'm trying to. They're old stuff that I've had on for doing other observations in the past. I've probably got observations all over. Get rid of that. Get rid of that.
Notice with all those lines, they point to a brothel in San Francisco, Ranty. What's going on there?
Right, okay, so there's more there, but Jumpsy, I can't get rid of all of them, there's that many. Right, go on. What am I looking for now? Come on, Jimbo. Where's this? Where is it? Is he gone? Jimbo!
My bad, I forgot to press the click. Okay, can you get rid of those green shields by unclicking them from Google's shit? Bridges, roads, that kind of shit.
Roads, 3D building, and borders. I think that's all I can get rid of. Not
What
sure.
are those things? Under more, maybe? No.
Parks, recreational areas. There you go. How's that?
There you go, that's better. Now, if you look pretty much at the center of the page, can you see in the kind of the whitish area, the face at all?
What, down here?
Eyes? No, up higher. Okay, well, zoom in a little bit more. Okay, now, there's well, kind of looks like an icy mountain cap in the right there, in the white spot, right?
I'm trying hard to find it, Jim.
I can see what you're saying. The base in the mountain range. I see it, but I also see scorpion cloud.
Oh, I just saw the face.
You're seeing things that aren't there.
Okay, Paige, direct me. Where am I looking at?
Okay, let's calm down here. Type in the Badlands Guardian, please.
Hang on. Just tell us where this is, Paige, on here, so that I'm terrible with looking at this sort of stuff, so...
Well, if I've got the right place, see the green strip down the left-hand side near the ocean?
Yeah, here.
That looks like the side... I can't see your mouse.
Well, here, where it says Portland. So wait a minute, so hang on, wait a minute.
Where those yellow... Yeah, where that red Portland dot is, that looks like the hair on the left-hand side, and then you've got two eyes and a nose and a mouth. There, it kind of looks like they're looking down and to the ocean.
Sort of sleeping.
Or, yeah, got its eyes closed, maybe.
I don't know, I can't see it.
So, where that red Portland dot is, if you go straight across to the right, you'll go over the top of its nose. Where the dark bit is, that's its nose, and then its eyes.
Nose.
So move your mouse further across.
Yeah.
I keep losing your mouse.
Hold on, let me do a path.
130 miles.
Like got a sideways smile, kind of like a
Yeah, kind of
sideways smile.
sideways smile. Looks like it's sort of looking down.
I see it.
Or got its eyes shut. Yeah, there it is. That's the side of its cheek. There's its chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The two eyes are the easiest identifiers. One is
Yeah,
in
the
shade,
two eyes
one
and
is,
the
one is showing.
nose of the mouth.
One of the eyes
Look like
is
a
actually
raccoon.
smashed in. Hello,
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
of
it
the
looks
eyes
like.
is smashed in on the side of the right side of the head.
Yeah, the left eye looks really sort of mushy, and the right eye's a bit
That's
darker.
perspective.
And
That could be perspective as well.
Doesn't get.
No, look, you think of it. Look, think of a skeleton. Think of like a skeleton. The way the circles are, like black eyes.
Can I add something in here?
Okay.
It's a little harder to define once you
Well,
have a little experience. If you want, we can come back to this after, but let's go
the dragon.
Okay, one sec.
Badlands Guardian.
Okay, somebody's making noise. Somebody's making noise.
I'm supposed to be showing this.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Let me guide Ranty a bit, and maybe we can get something more visual.
Right, where
This
to?
one, I said it was a 1,200-mile one. I wanted to start with that. It might have been a mistake. The Badlands Guardian should be a little easier to make out.
Badland Guardians. Badland Petrified Gardens, yeah?
No, it'll be in Alberta, Canada.
It's mad, isn't it? 2.88 mile high mushroom was into all this stuff 3 or 4 years ago. It's mad.
Badland Gardens. Hold on, Pete. Badland Gardens in where, sorry?
Alberta, Canada. Guardian.
Is there a
protector? Guardian, not gardens. Guardian.
Is there a reason why the screen keeps like going big and then smaller? Or is that something that's just happening to me? Oh, it's gone now. That's better.
Right, how's that?
Now,
oh wow! Look at that.
Indian head with headgear that's a mile across. Now, even further down, you have the rest of his body. He's in a kneeling position. His arm and elbow are out front. You can see his hand, and you can see his bent knee backwards to his foot.
This just looks to me, I'll be honest, this looks to me like the old trees, the old tree root systems and stuff that you see in Australia.
Trust me, trees didn't have hands and feet, Ranty. I know what you're saying. I
Oh,
understand.
trees had limbs, Jim.
Calm down,
Trees had
Jimbo.
limbs.
Calm down, Jim.
Yes, yeah, we haven't even been anywhere
Yeah,
yet.
trees had limbs, Jim. Admit trees had limbs, Jim.
Would you shut up?
Tell me that trees have limbs, Jim.
Right, okay, so there's his head. So where's his arms and his legs?
Jim can't admit trees have limbs.
Never mind. You guys can figure it out.
Let's
I got
continue,
some posted
man.
on my
Come on,
site.
though.
I'm gone. This is just nonsense. So much for this.
Thanks for sharing your
Come on, and don't
information,
be a
Jimbo.
fucking baby with this too there. Continue on.
It's fine, I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
Ridiculous. If he's gone, that's fair enough. 2.88 mile high mushroom was covering all this stuff. So what's Jim bringing to the table here? If he's why is he so sensitive?
Right, okay.
A princess, isn't it?
Trees have limbs.
Right, okay guys, listen, somebody's saying that they want to flag my channel or something for something, so can somebody just tell me who's saying what so that I can ban them? Because I wasn't paying attention to the chat right then, so just let us know what's been going on, guys.
The Earth, in form of Gleason's map even, present itself as, and especially if you use a bit of divine imagination, drain some of the water away, I say a fucking dodo bird. And all you dodos think I'm a dodo for thinking the dodo bird never existed.
Ranty, I think the giant dragon and fish, I think, are at the top of Africa. If you want to look at them, they're.
But like I said, I've seen scorpion shapes in the clouds. That doesn't mean.
Yeah, no.
there's
This one, the
scorpion
dragon,
in the clouds.
you can actually see the inside of its throat. You can see where its throat's been cut. You can see like the little the anatomy
I'm with all
inside
for
the throat
looking at
where
it.
its venom. Sorry.
I said I'm all for looking at it, but I'm not going to say that just by looking at a Google Earth image that there was a dragon there.
No,
You know
no,
what I
look
mean?
at it then, Rob.
Yeah,
look
wait
at it.
till
Go
you
back and
see
look
it
up
first.
2.88 mile high mushroom to begin with.
Right, where's this?
Or even if
Where's this dragon? Whereabouts is that?
Dragons in the clouds. How long have I been saying the
at
dragon
the top
is
of
here?
Africa, but I know the last video that Mud Fossils University had up, it might have been on his thumbnail, but I'm pretty sure he just zooms into the top of Africa.
Okay.
That's all 2 or 3 years ago stuff, though. In fairness, we will admit that, right?
Yeah, it's a couple of years old now. And he's
that
gone through
why-
the anatomy, and he shows you all the, like the esophagus and, all the anatomy inside its throat and all its scales, and the venom that's coming out of its mouth has like made the ground go all black and rancid. It's amazing.
I'm sure Jim, that's what Jim wanted to move on to. So Jim, get the fuck back in here and cop yourself on. A tree does have limbs. A tree has hardwood, right? A tree has a crown, like we do. So look, we acknowledge these sort of associations without fucking going off on a pissy hit. I was going to say a hissy fit.
Pissy hiss.
But you know what I mean. And let me just say as
That
well,
was a bit
like Rob just said
surprising that he
there,
got so upset. I don't understand what he got upset about.
I'm well used to it, Paige. When you get to a sensitive topic, well, this is a giant trees is a massive sensitive topic now. All of a sudden, it seems, but yet it's not. It's sort of like, oh, which way? It's like Rob. It's like Rob here. Rob, all this stuff has been talked about over the years. So if you're not familiar with it, which you should be, right? Well, then you need to get yourself familiar with it and don't rule anything out.
Oh, no. I hear you, Pete.
Do you want me to
I'm
see if I can
100%.
find a picture of
I
it,
am
Ranty,
familiar with it. Yes.
from the
See,
Mud
that's
Fossil?
the thing. If I wanted to present something, I would bring it to Ranty and I would present it to Ranty and then go over it. But Jimbo didn't bring anything. He just tried to direct Ranty to do everything. I don't think that's what Ranty wanted. Don't get me wrong. Like, I just said that's what I would do. Is I would bring my own information to be presented.
Yeah, pretty much true there, Rob. I thought he was doing a presentation as such. I might have got it wrong, but listen, I'm happy to do the presentations if I knew what I was doing. I didn't expect to have to try and find these things, or at least plan. I would have planned it first. I would have asked Jimbo, "Can you tell me where these are?" And I'd have tried to see it before the show, and I wouldn't have acted like a complete idiot, just not knowing what I'm looking at.
But Jimbo is immersed in drama. He is a registered actor. He was on fucking MacGyver. He just told us before the...
That was my exact thoughts, Ranty. I'm just glad you agreed with me. Thank you.
Yeah, but it was a dramatic exit stage left, and there's no reason for it except to be dramatic, because you can handle your fucking self here. This is Funky Friday.
I think what I'll do is I'll work through with Jimbo over the next couple of days, and if he wants to give me some locations to check out, I'll have a look, or some videos to watch. I have watched some of the Mud Fossils stuff. Mud Fossils University.
I found the picture from Mud Fossils. How do you share screen? Can you share screen on a phone?
Underneath it says screen, or you can just put the image in the chat. It's up to you.
Okay.
What are we to make of these impressions is the bigger question, because they've been out there for so long, you know what I mean, that we should have been mulling them over to observe the phenomena and go, well, wow, like Rob's initial reaction is, wow, well, okay, that's pareidolia. I said pedophilia earlier on, and I said those two words are connected because there are patterns everywhere. So if we start looking at the clouds and start talking about repeating patterns, they'll call you a pareidolia. Right, so pareidolia associated with pedophilia, something sort of called crazy, because, well, of course we live in a heliocentric Big Bang universe where distance is infinite. So yeah, all of these comes into play. Where's Jimbo? Jimbo's definitely listening though. Let him come back in and make his point about giants. That's the whole point.
I can't figure out how to do it, Ranty, on this phone.
There's no rush.
It's at the 2-minute mark though of peer review, the video. It's from the 2-minute mark onwards, he shows you the dragon and the fish.
It's a very interesting question. I think, like, without images, it's okay. You don't have to have images. We can all understand words, and we can sort of activate our minds, right? We think in pictures. But when, with the Ball Earth, we're told about Pangea and all the continents at some prior point in time, prior to Earth's greater expansion, were sort of cuddled in together in a three-dimensional jigsaw puzzle piece. And in a sense, we can verify this as reality. We got to try and come to reason as to why that may be. I think this is the ultimate purpose, coming to be flat earthers, right? You can be stuck fighting fucking SciManDan till the cows come home.
Oh, come on, yeah, you could fight with anyone, Pete. I mean, to be honest, I mean, Jimbo comes in, and I said to you before the show, just be good to each other, and you're like,
and you asked him about, do limbs have trees?
yeah, tell them they have limbs. Like, you know, that's an old argument that you've been having with him, though.
But it's a simple yes or no question.
I know, but it's an argument that you knew would get a rise out of him. Come on, Pete.
No, we were talking about this very thing, right? In a sense, you mentioned it actually, Randy, when you talked about tree park. You did.
Yeah, no. Because we were talking about it doesn't mean you didn't know that would
trigger him. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, Pete.
Come on, Pete.
He knows what he's doing. He's been round that block many times with Jimbo.
Hang on, please. I thought. Hang on. I
Either
thought
way,
it was Randy. You prompted it, Randy, when you mentioned Jim was showing you. What was he showing you? A red Indian, Hiawatha. Yeah. Yeah. Well, to be honest, it looks like. What did you say, Randy?
Hey, I said it looked like
tree roots or something.
Yeah, tree roots or something like that. Yeah, branches.
So Jim said, "Oh, that's ridiculous," or something, and I said, "Jim, 2 trees have limbs, right?" I think what? Yeah.
Yeah, but you've had that argument with him before, P. Come on, you've had that argument with him before.
Randy, I might just disappear for a minute and go and jump on Mum's computer and see if I can share screen on the computer rather than on the phone. Okay, I'll be back in a minute.
Hey, Rachel's
areas of consideration, right?
did join.
Rachel time to expand.
So Rachel did join then. She's gone now. So who have we brought in? We brought Brian Leake. Nice to see you in, mate. It's been a while actually. When was the last time you came in? About 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but I've been listening.
Cool. Rachel, how's your mic doing? Hello, Rachel?
It's not going great, Randy. Doing okay.
Sounds great.
So Brian, what have you been doing? How's your line of research going? How far did you manage to stretch that fishing line?
I'll be honest, man, I ain't even had a chance to do it yet. The only video I've made really since then is the moon flat Earth test channel, but where the moon was exactly backwards. Because I said the video, you know, sometimes it doesn't line up with the way it's supposed to on a flat Earth or a globe, technically. And but my door is facing straight. When I walk out my front door, I'm facing east toward the coast, and the ocean's probably just about, I don't know, 7-8 miles away, but I'm looking dead east. So that's where the sun comes up, and then it sets behind my house, right? So so then the moon, the sun had just set a couple hours previous behind my house, behind the tree line and all that. It was dark, and then the moon, it's hard to see in the video, but if you look, you can see it. The moon was lit up, and where the sun had just set was dark. In other words, the part of the moon that was facing where the sun had just set was the dark part, and it should have been completely opposite. So I've been waiting on that because it's off by a little bit, you know, sometimes. But every now and then you get it where it's exactly backwards, and that's how it was the other night. So if anybody wants to see that little short video, it's just, you know, it ain't nothing special, but it's a little look at it. And that to me, man, I don't know, that makes sense to me on either model. So that keeps me scratching my head, man. I just like the try and stay and see what's all going on. Much with giants and stuff like that. I think it's interesting, but
All I heard from that, Brian. All I heard from that was you had a front door, Brian. You lucky bastard.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I count my blessings, man.
You're doing your robot again.
Jose's channel. Sorry, Randy. Have you stopped going on Jose's channel, Brian? I don't go on there anymore. Have you stopped debating the points with bowlers? Because it's pointless ultimately, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I've been wanting to.
Brian is in a barn somewhere.
Do about a mile, a little over a mile.
You're roboting hard, Brian.
Brian, are you out? Hold on, Brian. Are you out walking?
You're roboting hard.
Because it seems like you're going.
He's not walking, Randy. He's in America, man. Come on.
Oh yeah, but I know. Come on, America's still got a good signal. I think he just goes out. I don't think he talks about flat Earth at home. I think he likes to walk around.
How's that, man? I do pace around, man. But is that? Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah. Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, there's a dead spot. I think there's a dead spot in my house, but that fishing line test, I'm gonna do it this weekend. Today's my birthday, man. Today's my birthday, and so I got a couple people coming over later, and I'm gonna.
Hey, happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you, man. I'm gonna try and get and set it up where we can go tomorrow. I think it's like between a mile and a half. So this ain't gonna be the prove all, but this is gonna be one big step up. So I did it over the land and got it just a few inches of sag without even tightening the line over almost 600 yards. Okay, when they said it would hit the ground at 60, a professional fisherman over on Jose's said that over 60 feet that line would sag on the ground if you had it a few feet off the ground, and that was laughable, man.
Yeah, it doesn't do that.
I thought it was going to be like that too.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that fishing line's a lot tougher than I thought. To make a long story short, I'm gonna say that so I'm about to step it up and do it in the water and above the water first to see how far I can stretch it before it actually sags like a foot. So I'll have that information, and then I'll see what we get over like between a mile and a half. And if it works, we'll ramp it up from there. So I'm doing that this weekend, man. So hold me to it.
Let me ask this question then, right, Brian? Because you've proved professional fishermen wrong, who probably sort of have the backing of the body of science behind them. What do you think the record is for those in the know, military installations or whatever, for wire-to-wire transmission, if they had the proper sort of power range and ratio and had the capabilities, which surely we know they have? I think it's hundreds of miles. It's like how far we can see to France. You can stretch a wire all the way if you can maintain the tension.
I mean, I've heard of a couple accounts of a couple hundred miles, if I'm not mistaken, man. Yeah, I mean, from professionals.
I'm fucking like a fucking fool, Brian, because every fucker seems to know that the Earth is flat, and I guess we're like a video game. We're sort of entering stage level 2, level 3, or whatever, and coming to this sort of greater realization, ultimately back to the truth. I'm fucking raging that nearly every fucker knows, because I know every senior sailor knows all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Every senior military man has known this because it's been passed down, the core truth of, the earthly matters. Anyway.
Sorry, can I just...
I'll tell you... Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, Randy, I was just going to say, I have to download Discord on the on Mum's computer because she doesn't have it, and it's telling me like half an hour. So I've got it downloading, but I just don't know how long it's going to take.
Get her done, Paige. But I'll tell you what, around here, man, people are waking up.
Yeah, it's on its way.
People are sorry about that, Paige, but get her done. But around here, people are waking up. It's not a dumb topic anymore. Even people who don't believe in flat Earth, they're asking questions around here. Like everybody I associate with, even people that I've just first bring it up and question them. I've had a couple people bring it up to me, and I was like, really, But
I had a chat with my mum last night
the
about
moon landings, man. Yeah.
Well, you know
all
what?
You do is look at the evidence, man.
Yeah,
you
but
just gotta stop talking to people that drive around in their cars by themselves with masks on.
But hang on, people. Meanwhile, all the important people, all the wealthy people, all the celebrities are leaving. They're exiting stage left. So Where does that leave us? Is that a part of their plan?
I think I got my mum thinking when I asked her the craters on the moon. I said, how is it that all the craters are, straight on hits when the moon is always facing us the same way, and you've got Earth in between the moon and whatever's hitting it, and all the craters are all straight on hits? And she just sort of looked at me. And
that's a good point. They can't argue that.
Yeah.
And what I keep on my phone is it's one of them shows that says a Globebuster-ish show, but it was when Iro Landucci did a shout out to Iro on this video, man. He did a little, just a short video. Him and Jaron were talking, and it shows where he's talking about his cousin's ballerina, and he does a pose like that, and it shows the astronaut's leg getting snatched up from behind, and it shows him hitting his foot with the hammer. He's like, look at him hit his foot with the tool. He's gonna die. That shit's so funny. And then you see the first docking, and so people who have never seen this evidence, okay, that's fine. You just think you go along with everything. You've always thought, yeah, we went to the moon, of course. But anybody who has seen this shit and still thinks that, now, whether we've been or not, that shit is bullshit. And anybody who thinks otherwise is a fool. If they look at that stuff, the guy hitting his foot with the hammer, the limb turning just like point blank on the dime about the dock. I mean, anybody who thinks that's real is a fool.
But Brian, we're not fools, right? And when something is made so obvious, especially with hindsight, right, there's a greater plan in play, and we recognize it. So we might take joy in the greater populace seeming to wake up, right? But those who are creating the script are those who are in the know. What are they doing? And as I said, I'm not paying any attention to this. And my neighbor told me the other day, this Simon Cowell of X Factor fame seemingly broke his bike after falling off his back. He broke his back after falling off his bike, apparently.
That's funny.
It's just apparently, she said, it's just another one. Michelle is her name next door. It's another. Oh, don't talk to me about Michelle. Poor Michelle. She had a recent page. You'll probably appreciate this, but look, just to divert a small bit, because I think it's connected, and I think it was in greater story as well. But she was expecting a child, and she had a miscarriage. And it turns out that there's so many miscarriages amongst people her own age. It's almost like the new normal, right? I think there's a different reason for that. I think the age of division is done. I do think the age of division is done, though, Paige, right? I really do. And if you remember the riddle that Ban saw presented last night, I think it's very, very pertinent.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
It is. And what are fruits actually, as opposed to roots or compared to roots? But anyway,
right, let me just, we'll get on with it, Pete.
Okay. Well, I was nearly finished. I know I get diverted, right? But it is pertinent because Corona, Ranty, when Corona came in, all the big polls went up with the 5G, and all of the scare went around. So I think there's a greater.
Hey, tell us about what your neighbour said.
Right, listen, I want to address.
Don't laugh about it, man. Don't laugh about it, you fucker, right? Because she had lost a child. Right.
Right. Let me address.
And she said it was common. It seemed to be common now amongst people her own age.
Stay on point.
35-year-old.
Right. I want to address.
Fuck you, right? Evangelist, where the heart of man is purely evil.
Right. I'm going to address WS in the chat. So he says. So he's calling you out, Paige. He said, "I thought Paige didn't think the moon was a solid object, but now they are real craters? Question mark? Question mark." So I replied to him saying, "Look, you just missed the point again." Paige, do you want to tell him what the point was?
Join the panel. Join the panel. Don't address him until he joins the panel.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
No, bugger him. If he wants to come in and talk to us, then yeah, sure. But if you can't figure out that the moon being a solid object in your model, with meteors hitting it straight on with the Earth in the way, if you can't figure out what's wrong with that, then sorry, dude, I don't know what to say to you.
Yeah, so see, Paige wasn't turning around.
WS, really.
Paige wasn't turning around and saying it was a solid object. She was saying, how come in your model do we have these craters that are symmetrical if the Earth is blocking the direct line of impact.
If he wants to know if I think it's a solid object, why not just ask that question instead of assuming that's what I mean, and making a fool out of yourself? Why not just ask, say, are you saying, Paige, that you think the moon's a solid object? It's okay to ask questions, but it's when you come in and start, putting your ideas into my head and saying, twisting my words and saying, oh, well, you must think the moon's a solid object then. Well, no, that's not what I said at all. You don't listen. None of you listen. Just like that Hellfire Hammer guy yesterday, giving me a hard time in Ranty's Discord because I didn't want to have a conversation. I said, look, I've spent 5 years having conversation. You guys bring nothing new. You're all just time wasters. And he was saying that he had something new that I hadn't seen before and I should give him a chance. So I jumped into voice chat, said, yeah, mate, all right, I'll give you half an hour, not a problem. Ended up sitting there for an hour listening to him. Had a really, really good conversation. But again, all he brought was flight plans, things that I have looked through and have discussed before. He brought nothing new. And I said, this was my point.
Yeah, let me say something real quick, Pete. Even when they show us the pictures of the moon, the artists there know to put a hot spot of the sun. They add a hot spot, like Ron Simmons was saying that the picture of the Earth, the blue marble, the famous blue marble, is photoshopped because it had to be, saying it looked all flat, so they had to add a hot spot. And that's just not the way a ball looks. I mean, it does look like a 3D ball. Kind of depends on what perspective you look at it from, but that's just not the way spheres reflect light. But also, I wanted to bring up, changing the subject just a little bit for one split second. Pete, the other night when you were talking about Toady, the resilient Brazilian, and talking about licking his back for immunity. Oh my God, that was so funny, dude. That was my wife about pissed herself listening to that, brother.
Where's the toady when you need one? I'm after a few smokes and a few beers. I'd lick a toad's back at this time, I tell you.
He's talking about licking his back for immunity, man. I couldn't even breathe after you said that, dude.
Wow. Sorry for getting diverted earlier on. It's not important, but it's all of these things are for longer, sort of more developed explanation. But if you post that picture, Ranty, that I posted in Discord chat here of Crater Clavius, and it's getting back to the main point that Paige was making in terms of her conversation with her mother, and against the greater sort of understanding as well about what the moon is in relation to the backdrop. This, I'm just going to say, is the best example, and I think this is why Stanley Kubrick, right, in his movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, we all know what happened in 2001. He named this particular crater, right, as the moon base. When you look at it, again, how are you going to look at it? Preconceived ideas and notions. You look at a solid body. What are you expecting to see? Remove all of those, especially as flat earthers. And Randy, you're talking about mirror sky, the Earth, the moon mirroring, etc. Now look at that image in terms of mirroring. What can you see? And I think that's the reason why it was presented to us, and for this time to rediscover when we look at the moon with new eyes.
All right, what are we looking at, Pete? Get on with it.
That's Crater Clavius.
Yeah, no, what are we supposed to see with it?
Right, you tell me.
Well, I don't know, it just looks like a smudge.
What do you mean it looks like a smudge? Hang on, let me go on to the main channel here. What are you presenting?
We're presenting the image that you posted.
That's a fucking excellent image. Go full screen on that.
I've gone full
high definition image.
Yeah, but what is it? What are you trying to show us?
That is Crater Clavius, right?
Right.
So,
what does it show us?
When you were so sort of enheartened about realizing that the moon might be a reflection of the Earth, right?
Yes.
If we're dealing with reflections, when we look closer at this moon, particular moon crater, I'm asking you to think in terms of reflections. When we do you want me to give the answer immediately, Ranty? And then you'll say, oh, well, I wish you didn't give me that because I should have looked at it a bit more, maybe took 2 minutes out of my time. Especially when it involved Stanley Kubrick as well, placing the moon base on 2001, a Space Odyssey, referencing 2001 9/11, where we had the monolith in the form of the Millennium Hotel, and also, we had the pit as well, the crater where the monolith was found on the moon. Remember, these are all theatrical pieces, greater clues in this greater game of life. If you want to view it that way. If you don't,
Tell
you
me.
don't need to.
Just tell me.
Think about spiraling then. Ranty, think about spiraling. Think about a spiraling reflective pattern. Can you see any sort of spiraling going on?
No. Do you want to tell us what it is, Pete?
Right. Well, do I need? Okay, you maybe need to take a bit more time. Does anyone else see the spiraling? I'm after giving it a fucking way. I mean, immediately. In a sense, think about what a spiral is. A circle in linear motion, right? Up and down, spring and fall. So, this is worth more of your time, Randy, than being so impatient about this, because it spirals all the way down.
Golden ratio?
It's reflections all the way, but what is actually reflecting? That's why I said to Jim, when you zoom out from all of these, and they're all well documented by mud fossils, by 2.88 mushroom, etc., over the years. When you zoom out, though, and look at the greater Earth, what presents itself? The dodo bird we were all made familiar with from the very start, right? But it never existed. Therefore, there's a greater symbolism.
So there's a dodo here.
Everything reflects one thing. This is what the whole point is. All of those craters are one crater. You're just looking at it from a different viewing perspective because it's a mirror sky, right? It's a reflection. The moon is a reflection of solidity.
Man, I could see a little hint of the dodo in that guy's map, the moon map. That was pretty interesting, man. It's I wouldn't bet the farm on that, but that's definitely worth looking into. I think yeah.
From scratch, right? From day one, your grandchildren were suited. The first thought, right, or the first sound that they associate with a soothing sound, I'm not saying your particular grandchildren, but millions earthwide, is a dodo. This is all encompassed, incorporating the greater script here that is our lives, right? And now
Sorry,
it's time.
that is strange.
Okay, so can somebody tell me where this dodo is? Because I just don't see it.
No, not in that.
I don't see the dodo there either.
No.
We're talking about the dodo here.
Well, what are we
talking about the spiraling? Do you see the spiraling pattern, Ranty?
Yeah, but tell me what we're seeing, Pete.
Yes, I'm telling you what you're seeing. You're seeing a reflection of the same thing. All of those, what seemingly look like disparate craters. Remember, all of our lives we're told that the moon is a solid object. We are looking at reflections of the same thing, overlapping other reflections. And that's why I talk about the spiraling pattern. Spiral is created by something moving upwards, right, in a circular fashion, in that linear fashion there. That creates a spiral.
Randy,
next time I mentioned, hang on, Brian, next time I said, next time, like last time, go and have a look at your pee, your urine, as a male and a female. It comes out in a spiral. The spiral DNA of life, right? This is all because it comes back to the...
Go on, Paige, what did you say?
I just wanted to point out what I said before about them twisting my words. WS has put in here, Paige has told me before that she thinks the moon is not physical and is self-illuminating. I've never said it's not physical. I said it's not a rock you can land on. Yes, I think it's self-illuminating, and that's pretty obvious when you can, take the temperature of moonlight and you can put things out in the moonlight and see that it has the opposite reaction to sunlight. It's completely the opposite. But I've never said it's not physical. It's just not a rock.
It doesn't matter what WS says. He's a faceless coward.
No, I'm just pointing out to the people in the chat that these guys will take something you say, twist it all around, and then talk about you like they know, what.
I know.
And
then claim victory.
Let me take their side for a second.
And then claim
Paige,
victory,
it looks physical, doesn't it?
Yeah. These people need to be called out.
Oh, for sure.
Like, don't even don't respond. Just call them
Hang
out.
on,
All those,
I'm not
all
going to
those
talk to
craters have been
WS until
replicated.
WS joins the panel.
Hang on, please. Let me
Fuck
take the
that
part
guy.
of WS who never comes into chat here. Let me take the part of him for a second page, right? He might ask you, well, do you agree that the moon looks physical? Well, especially when we zoom in on it, it seems to have lots of sort of, mountainous, cavernous, etc. topography. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
sure. I've seen holograms that look real. So yeah, of course you can.
Right.
I've seen, holograms of whales jumping out of water, and they look real. They look physical. So yeah, of course it looks that way. It doesn't mean it is.
It doesn't mean it isn't, I would say, as WS as
No.
well.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it isn't. It doesn't mean it is either.
And how do we know?
I'm
Back to Jeremy's point, how do we know?
Prove that it is WS. Prove that it is. Just because it looks like it. Okay, cool. It looks like it. Now what?
Back to Jeremy's point, when you start with your explanations in terms of four-dimensional space-time, this is already in the world of the imagination, right? No way you can practically demonstrate this. But this is the only way that our minds can
Pete,
come to...
I can demonstrate those craters being made with electrical phenomenon. They can't replicate those craters, piffing something at a rock.
Yeah, but you still have to explain how that got up into the sky.
How the moon got into the sky.
Well, you know what I mean. You'd have to expand upon it, is my point. He won't come in and fucking present his point, little shit.
No,
like
of course
always.
not.
But you know what I mean, Paige. At this stage, and I have great respect for you. We're about what actually it might, And when I presented that crater clavius, the ultimate point here is, we're in an enclosed system. It's a mirror everywhere, right? And if we look at things with new eyes, then we can get a greater grasp. And I think that's ultimately the purpose. If we find ourselves in a place where you're going to nowhere, it's going against the creator as well, because I think we're greater than this, this physical reality.
Right,
and
let's.
Therefore, the ability for us to sort it out.
I'm going to shout out Flat Earth Data. So he's given a super chat. He says, Ranty is ace, Pete is ace, Rob is ace, Paige is ace, Jimbo is ace, FE is ace. 2021 is close, and SALT Treaty expires in January the 1st, 2021. Does anybody know what the SALT Treaty is? Because I've either had a brain fart, or I don't think I've actually heard of that.
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Might be a acronym, or SALT, like Antarctic Land Treaty. The I don't know.
He knows more than what he lets on Flat Earth Data.
That means Google SALT Treaty.
Strategic Arms Limitation.
Yeah, Reduction Treaty. Strategic Arm Reduction Treaty.
Talks. Strategic Arm Limitation Talks. There you go. Thanks, Jimbo.
Oh, Jimbo. Are you in private correspondence with Jimbo, Paige?
Oh, God, no, Pete.
Yes. She's definitely she's one of them, Pete.
Well, where did Jimbo write that? I don't see. Where did Jimbo write that?
He's in the chat.
Okay, that's fair enough. I'm not looking at the chat. You see.
Pete, you're so. Whenever it comes down to Jimbo.
So suspicious.
Paige is talking to Jimbo. Paige, you're on suspicion list now, mate.
I'm sorry. Listen, I did say earlier on, I do not look at the main chat when I'm talking here. Yeah, my full sort of attention.
Yeah, I don't normally either, but I'm sitting here waiting for that Discord thing to download so I can actually see the chat at the moment.
Pete's list of suspicious people is pretty damn long. It's not exactly.
It's everybody, and it has to be
everybody. Yeah.
Okay, so
who's looking at Pete while he's looking at everyone else, though? Pete, are you an actor? How do we know?
On camera right now.
You could be.
Right. Anyone's free to meet me. I have met a few flat earthers. Right. So, what more can you do?
What more can you do? That's it.
Fucking
Well, Toadie's on it, so he says that SALT is around nuclear de-armament. So Yeah, I might look into that. To be honest, it's only a few months away, isn't it? So let's see what that brings up. It's just more bullshit, isn't it? Basically, more
But
fear.
encoded bullshit. Soul's tree, right? Soul tree, soul of the earth, right? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just
It's
because.
a tree again. We can't escape the tree.
Yeah, but just because there's something called saltpeat doesn't mean that you can tie it back to something.
Tree. If you found out, Ranty, you were a tree, how would you feel? Tell me the truth.
I'd feel stationary. Yeah. I'm definitely not moving.
Well, you might feel rooted, right? But does that mean you don't feel rooted right now, Flat Earth Evangelist?
Peter, it was a joke, man. Lighten up, will you?
I know, man. I know.
Oh, never mind.
What do we have to cling to now?
No, I definitely don't feel like I'm...
You're branching off into strange areas,
We're like a fucking
Pete.
cut off tree, right? It's like a fucking branch cut off. Because all our existence is a lie. What if we're ultimately connected to everything?
I feel like the branch that my dog finds and chews to bits and spits out everywhere. There's no grounding, no rooting in this system at all.
Maybe there's a web page. Maybe this is what's given to us to leave aside the illusion.
Oh, I'm trying to find it, Pete. Trust me.
Well, look for the tree within.
Find that little
everybody
seed.
Look for everybody.
inside.
Search for their inner tree.
The seed, right? Don't spill your seed.
Yep.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Julie.
exactly.
And there was lots of
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Shout out to
Don't
Julie
waste that
Bennett.
seed.
Julie Bennett, shout out to Julie Bennett, one of my Patreons. Always been there for ages, I think at least a year or more.
Yeah, Julie's
ace. Julie's ace. Gadget Inspector says, if Ranty was a tree, he would branch out. There we go. Definitely, I would branch
The last
out.
contributor was there through the thick and the thin, and I'm talking about your hair and its receding levels over the years you've been on camera, Ranty.
Hey, listen, you never know, it might grow back. I might get some miracle cure that...
I'm born to the next 2025.
Oh, you don't need hair, Pete.
Ranty, there we go again, this F-free guy. And how would a hologram provide cold light if there were such a thing? I think he said that because I mentioned how I've seen a hologram that looks physical. That I didn't say that's what I thought the moon was, you dickhead.
Hey, Jack got a thermal camera, and yeah, everything in the shade. I mean, they're trying to say that it ain't so, that the atmosphere lingers around, but everything in the shade is a darker color. I mean, darker, like a reddish
warmer
color, and everything in the moonlight is greenish blue.
Yeah, it's have you seen those like blue plasma? It's cold plasma, and I think the moon's something like that.
These guys got a lot of gall knocking on us for suggesting what the moon is or talking about the moon. They think it's part of a giant planet that slammed into the Earth and then broken to pieces and consolidated and is floating and continuously falling around the entire Earth. It's ridiculous.
It's worse than that. They actually believe that the entire universe was once smaller than half of a fingernail.
Yeah, not to mention that.
It's worse than that because they're not even sure where that came from.
Yeah, they're not even sure where that came from.
60-mile crater, man. Sorry about that.
Moonlight is the exact opposite of sunlight.
They're telling me that it's a quarter million miles away. Sorry, man. I'm just trying to get this one thing, and they're trying to tell me it's a 250,000 miles away, and I can see a 60-mile wide crater with my bare eyes. That common sense, man, that right there eliminates the fact that it's that far away or that big, whatever. I mean, their story is done right there. The fact I could see the 60-mile wide Aristarchus crater with my naked eye means that their information is bogus.
You just flat out tell it's not that far away. You just look at it up in the fucking sky and know that it's not 250,000 miles away. I don't care what they say about not being able to judge distance. That's
Gonna shout out to who we got, Greg T, who says scalp massages and zinc cure hair loss. Okay, when you say cure it, does it replenish it? I've been bald since I was what, mid-20s, so I could do with the assistance. Yeah, I mean, if that's what you say it is, scalp massages and zinc just become, will it grow my hair back?
They just can't. They want to take something you say that you might be using as an analogy or as a way to think of something, and they twist your words and say that you said that about something else.
That's what
It's
they
like, no,
do.
Listen.
That's what they
Yeah,
do,
open your
Paige.
ears, clean out your ears and actually listen to what I'm saying.
Listen, Paige, you could do the most perfect presentation over a period of 10 hours. Let's say it takes 10 hours to do it. And you could misspeak one time. You could misspeak one time. And what they would do, they would take that one misspeak and they would make an entire video about it.
Make 100 troll videos. Yeah.
And then they would
and say that it proved the globe.
Yeah, and then they would
your misspoke proved it.
and they'd send all the trolls over to down thumb your video and make it appear that it's a crap video. That's what they do. That's how they try to win this. They don't want to play on an even playing field and actually have the debate or the thought that goes into it. They don't want to do that. They're just looking to score points. So
let me say the universe runs on irony. Jimbo rage quit, right? Because he was afraid to say the word tree, and then like a flash, like an instant, when it came to Flat Earth Data's reference, he was the first to come in with sultry, right? That's why I couldn't believe it was so quick. The relation there, but that's funny.
It's like Christmas Day for you, Pete, huh?
So apparently zinc and head massages regrows your hair. There you go.
What is salt though? What is sand?
Well, hang on, never mind salt. Hold on, he said zinc. Hold on, Pete. He said zinc. Does anyone agree with that? Anyone desperate to know that I'm actually wanting to regrow my hair?
Never heard of it.
That's another handy life hack brought to you by Ranty Flat Earth Channel.
Right, okay, so Steve Johnson says, for Paige, this is, could you ask Paige what she meant by cold plasma? What did you mean by that?
The blue plasma, the little flame that you see. Then look it up, Google it.
Yeah, you can touch it. You can touch.
Yeah, remember, Paige, you're not their teacher.
Yeah, that's why I literally put that on my name, because it's not up to me to explain anything to you people, and especially not people who refuse to even come in and have a voice discussion with us. You're all just time wasters. I don't have time for you.
But
you're not worth responding
the question's
to.
interesting, Paige. Getting beyond, but it's still a question there to sort of be broached, I guess, in our own minds. When we think about the opposite of empty space, when we think about the opposite of empty space, in my mind, solidly fixed is saline waters, Brian. It has to be. If we think about the span of the flat Earth, right? The flat and stationary surface, and we think about the depth of the deepest parts, which is 8 miles or so, it's like a fucking shallow puddle when we think of it on that scale, right? So it's only when you get the flat Earth consideration to begin with that you can consider what is going on. And when Paige is asked for an explanation,
I'd be Ranty 2.0 lumberjack. You'd look weird with hair. I'll give it a go. Yossi says, yeah, he agrees with zinc. I know, I guess I'm buying some zinc next week.
Research, man, because if you looked into, you can even look at YouTube videos and see the cold fusion and the cold lasers. If you looked into superfluids, they're reaching these
They're
super
just
low temperatures.
hoping I'll say something that they can pick on me about. So,
they're reaching these real super low temperatures. That's how they're doing it with cold lasers.
So, Brian, imagine shining a laser into an endless depth of cold water. what sort of interaction pattern you would get, how deep it may go, what sort of plasmic effects. And this is what is plasma, my friends. They have fucking they've inverted everything purposefully. They are us, I think. They're us. You know what I mean? We're always meant to come to these sort of realizations personally. There is no one else. But yeah, when we invert everything, empty space, heavy waters, they're cold waters as well, Paige. So when that laser reflects and gives, let's say, the moon, that moon, which is a lesser intensity than the main sort of source of the reflection, may take on some of the qualities of the reflecting material, which, well, is
Yeah, for
cold water.
sure.
How cold is cold? How cold is cold, right? And I'll tell you this, I'll tell you this and no more. And this is why I will tell you lots more, but this is why this whole sort of uh, paradigm, in a sense, what is light? The dual particle wave theory of light. And again, everything is metaphor. So when we take away the literal and we move into sort of the real, light as we know it,
How is
and
light
mostly with the
created?
sun. I'm nearly finished. Light, mostly with the sun in terms of sun's light, the visible light, and the heat. Right. This is an effect. Right. And they're telling us that it's an effect from source energies interacting with the intervening mediums, which is not empty space all the way to infinity.
Right, I've got a super chat to shout out. One sec. Windrider says, "Are you ready for this, guys? Ranty, for hair growth, rub organic apricot kernel oil in your scalp daily. Maybe in a year you won't be able to run a brush through your lush locks." Ooh. LOL. Right, so I'm gonna.
Moonlight can grow hair. Werewolves, they go in the moonlight and their whole bodies become covered with hair.
Okay, yeah, that might work then. So what I'll do, I'll spend the next year sitting out in the moonlight, rubbing apricot kernel oil and eating zinc and getting a head massage, and that should grow my hair back.
Masturbating, don't forget the masturbation. I mean,
that loses it, doesn't it?
Have you been listening to Alistair Crowley?
Oh God, yeah. Him and his bloody sex magic. He's obsessed, that guy.
Well, that's the sap, right, Paige? It's their sap that has been cut off.
Apricot.
Really, if we think of ourselves in terms of trees,
right?
Very core, hard fluid.
Yeah. So was that little
man.
douchebag in chat happy with the thing that you brought up?
Well, lots of people won't be happy, but Alistair Crowley is another one of these characters, right? He's painted as the wickedest man in history. When you get beyond that,
Just to Ian Adams, he says, "Just look at your dad. If he has no hair, you're not going to have any." My dad's got a full head of hair still. That's what I can't understand.
He made it compulsory for all of his students, right, the wickedest man in history, all of his students to know Alice in Wonderland, Alice Through Looking Glass, inside out, back to front, up to down. Isn't that funny?
Anyone want to talk about? Anyone want to talk about Operation High Jump to Pete Bremble? He said that, because I asked him a few shows ago to go and have a look into Operation High Jump, and he said that he's a little bit confused as to why it's a conspiracy. Confused as to why it's a conspiracy.
It's not a conspiracy.
Well, think about it. Richard Byrd had already done 2 expeditions to Antarctica, and they done flew all around it. He comes back and says that not only does he say there's a land bigger than the United States, that he doesn't even say like we stepped foot on. He said that we've never even seen it, and they'd already been there and mapped it out, and trying to map it out, whatever, twice. So there's an area. So whatever ground they covered in them 2 expeditions is supposedly this area bigger than the United States is not even included. So there's something there, man.
There's no conspiracy about whether they had Operation High Jump. Like, I don't understand what he thinks the conspiracy is. Does he think that it's a conspiracy that the operation ever existed? Like, what does he think the
There's so much evidence. You look at it like, if you just start connecting the dots, they pull out of there. They got a half-tired fleet with only a few planes left, or less than half their planes. They said that Germans had perfected force field technology. You look for these little clues.
Yeah, they kept
you find
running
little
into
clues and different. Then you see in the old Encyclopedia Britannica or whatever how they're talking about a mountain range, and then all of a sudden you hit a dome. Now, if they're calling mountains dome, what are they saying? There's a a stretch of mountain range and then hit a dome. Okay, and
No,
then they
they
hit a dome.
actually mentioned in Encyclopedia Britannica the dome at different levels at different places as you go farther south.
Yeah, it was in
Yeah, they go out all of a
1959.
sudden and then never come back.
Yeah. Okay, Pete. Yes, that was in 1959, I think. In the that they had that in the Britannica book, wasn't it? About the dome.
Encyclopedia Britannica, yep.
Yeah, about the dome.
Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
Isn't that like 1 year after NASA was formed?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the whole narrative, where they said that Hitler and all the Nazis ran away to Antarctica at the end of World War II. 10 years ago, I used to think, why the hell would you run to that place where you're going to have to live in an igloo for the rest of your life? What would be the point?
Yeah, it makes more sense now, doesn't it?
How could you live down there? But now, if this land's beyond, you just think, geez, they're probably having a good life, and because they knew what was actually there.
Just remember, well, it depends on which
You're
paradigm
roboting,
we're
Pete,
jumping through.
but I think everyone here knows there's more land beyond what we've been told.
Well, let me just finish it, Jim. He came along on me. Jim, I know you can hear me.
Hey, roboting, shut up, Jim.
You were roboting.
Okay, well, I apologize for that. All I wanted to say, keep it brief then. Well, don't forget, Admiral Burry came on mainstream television after the whole turmoil of the war, right? And when the globe was established as fact in the mind of the public, that's up for opinion amongst all of us, right? But yeah, we get to hear this stuff for a reason. And well, maybe if there's no more land after all, it's just a sort of another reversal, and the center of attention is, well, the north, the opposite, right?
Yeah, as I thought about that, does anybody remember being taught about Admiral Byrd before FE? I can't remember ever hearing about him and his expeditions before.
Yeah, exactly, man.
FE came along.
Exactly. Tesla, Byrd, and think about it. If the globe, if there were distortions or whatever, if the globe was messed up, where would we find out? Where would there be distortions? And on the edge, at the South Pole, where do we get distortions? Exactly there, and in the North Pole. I mean, come on, man. How many coincidences do people believe? It's crazy, man.
And if it was really just a geological point which was at the bottom of a ball and nothing beyond, what would be the point really of sending people there to risk death and stuff and just take pictures and stand around in the cold? What would be the point of anything down there?
And why would they stop us going there?
Yeah, and the stories for each of the pole is always like, well, there was an expedition that went there in 1890 something, and the guys died on the way, and
why
it's
can't
really
we
hard
do
to
it
get
right?
there. Somebody always died in any of all the stories, right? And then when they got there, they found nothing. It was just a barren wasteland, and it's super freezing, and really no reason to go.
I think back when a woman from Ottawa actually believed there was more land and Earth was flat, went down, actually had a skidoo in the Antarctic, wrote it out. They
I saw that,
found
Jimbo.
her
I saw that.
skidoo, but didn't find the lady.
Wasn't there a note attached to it, or they found something that said, I found it? Or it was something, yeah, they didn't find her, but they found her snowmobile.
Did SciManDan get crushed, Dignan says.
Seek and ye shall find, Jimbo. What do you entertain thoughts that there's probably or possibly a sort of an underground pathway to the North Centre, getting under the barrier and returning home, returning to a different reality anyway. Whatever might be going on at the other side of us.
Absolutely. There's all kinds of stuff, tunnels, open spaces, underground, aquifers, you name it. It's huge down there, whatever's there. Lots of stuff down there. We couldn't even imagine what's down there.
Is it our task? Could it be our task, Jim? I mean this genuinely, and because I have been considering this for years now. Is it our task ultimately to find one of these passages? Martin Liedtke talks about stargates, right? Are stargates simply just underground tunnel passageways to the underground way through the barrier, the North Barrier? I do think there's a barrier at the north separating us, the outer, from the inner. But it's, you know what I mean. It's definitely.
Yeah, I know what you mean. In a sense, why we're here, and Is it really to quest to look for more lands, riches, conquer things,
I don't want
etc.?
any of that.
Or no, really think of it. Are we maybe here till we learn to treat each other a bit better in our home? You know,
Well,
if
I
we
love
can't
you,
do it
Jim.
here, why would we be doing any better anywhere else? Maybe that's why we're locked here somehow, with limitations to where we can go.
We're either forced here or we consented to be here. And I think there's a passageway. And I do think, look, I've shared all my thoughts on my own channel as I waffle on for 8 hours sometimes. The dodo bird, in terms of its symbolism, is fundamental in all of this. And, well, Mauritius is the home. Break down the word. What script you are. We forgot what a script is, Jim. H-U-man, human. So the H is the 8th letter. So it's Michael Jackson, who, funnily enough, faked his death and came back as the
I'm
five-alive
not a beast of
dodo.
the field,
He
so I
talked
can't
about it's as
consider
easy
what
as
it's like to be a
ABC.
beast of the field.
Yeah, but hang
So
on.
I'm
He
a
talked about
man,
it's as
not a
easy as
human.
ABC. Hang on,
So
please. He talked about
I
look if
see men and I don't see humans.
H-U man. H is if we want. We are human, right? We've been designated that. What would you call it? Designation. That'll do. Right. So it's for a reason. Everything is. I mean something or it means nothing, Jim. And we both agree there's a creator, there's a higher power. I think that the higher power gave us the ability to
He
piece all
made
of these things
man.
together.
He
That's why
didn't
we're
make
thinking about these
humans.
things. And that is the script that he gave and made available to all of us. And before you interrupted me, I was about to say, and I started saying that Michael Jackson faked his death clearly, but he returned as the Five Alive dodo back in 2011, 2012.
What?
Made no sense outside of a flat Earth.
So he returned as the Five Alive dodo, right, Pete? I've got to find it. Is this something that I can look up on YouTube or?
Yes, absolutely it is, Ranty.
Right. So the Five Alive dodo.
Yeah, it's on Google. I looked it up.
I've been to all
Look
of
for the dodo that grabs his crotch and goes, ee-hee.
Five Alive dodo.
Let me finish that, Ranty, while you're looking at that, right? But the point is, right, that's only a by the way, right? But it's coming back to the core point, which I'm after losing now because.
Wait a minute. Did you say he came back as the Five Alive dodo? What the hell are you on about?
Yeah, anyone is free to type that back in.
Yeah, I know. All I'm doing is watching
leading us to an inexorable point, and that is only when we come to flat Earth do we get the Gleason's map.
Right, Pete, one sec, Pete. I'm looking at an animation here. Is that right?
I don't know what you're looking at. Hang on.
No, I'm not sharing it. I'm just saying I'm looking at an animation. Is that right?
No. You'll see. Just type in Michael Jackson Five Alive Dodo, and you'll see a sort of a piecing together of different clues left. It's the best way I can describe it. You'll find that easily. Scroll down a bit.
Hold on.
You'll see a picture of a dodo bird and Michael Jackson, but it's a series of clues left. Now, if we've been paying attention after the 9/11 fakery, the 7/7 fakery, Michael Jackson clearly faked his death, right? That doesn't take much brains. But what clue did he leave? Well, before I knew anything about the flat Earth dodo and Gleason's map, Michael Jackson was associated with this Five Alive dodo bird. And that's, if you want to play that video, I've played it many times on my own channel. But that's me going back 2 or 3 years ago again.
Pete, just to make sure we're talking about the same thing, are you talking about that dodo bird, that animated dodo bird that sings and dances on the beach?
That's it. That's exactly it.
Oh my god.
What do you say no? Hang on. Who said that, Ranty? Why did I ask who said that? I heard you. What do you say no, my god? It's a game of clues.
What?
That's what I'm saying to you.
So wait a minute. So you see a dancing dodo, and then you put it, and then you assume that that's Michael Jackson, and he didn't die, and he's now alive.
So you haven't looked at the video.
No, I'm just getting it in as brief, an understanding of it as possible.
Heard the possibility that Michael Jackson faked his death.
Well, no, hold on, wait a minute. Let me just get this right, so the audience knows as well. Your claim is that Michael Jackson didn't die; he's alive, and he came back as a dancing animated dodo.
Right. So,
to sell fruit juice.
For the audience listening, please, do you believe that Whitney Houston, after a binge of cocaine, died in a bathtub with 3 inches of hot water? She dipped her toe in the hot water and she got such a shock, high as the kind of cocaine, that she died instantly, and that's that. And if you believe that, that's fair enough. But do you believe that her daughter died in exactly the same circumstances? So they faked her death. Come on, though. They faked her death. George Michael faked his death. David Bowie faked his death. Who am I talking to here?
This is so distracting.
Yeah, it's...
Randy, I've got...
So
getting back to the point, Jimbo.
I'd rather see what Paige has to show right
Yeah,
now.
let's listen to Paige now,
Let
yeah.
me finish then. Getting back to the point.
I can't...
Okay, let's go ahead. Go.
For some reason I can't hear... For some reason I can't hear anyone on the Discord that I've just downloaded on this laptop, so I'll just play it and... I'll just play it.
Fin up at the top, and he's
so this is the fish,
by a gigantic dragon.
And this
now,
is the dragon.
If we want reality and truth in our lives, we have to deal with this first. Because this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, this is just absolutely incredible what we have missed or have replaced with our own ideas of what reality should be. Now, this is the dragon's throat, and it spit and tried to attack that fish. You see how it ate into its vital flesh? Let's look at front and back again. Here's the
see how big that fish is?
Here's the desert, and this is where it all drained out into the Sahara. The Sahara Ocean drained across Atlantis, which is the eye of the Sahara. I've shown this a million times. There's the giant fish. There's the attack from the giant dragon, 1,000 miles long, on its back, killing its vital flesh with some very, very, very noxious substance that
look at that.
You don't see just laying around here and there. And it came out. I've looked at this in so much detail for years. I've been showing it for years. It came out these red and green injectors that are in the throat. You see them? Spit down all this nasty stuff into his throat, and then he spit it all at the fish. And then the throat goes right down, zip, and there's all the fluty-looking, flashy stuff on the side of a dragon. And these are the dragon scales in its throat. And that's the throat. And this is all, it's called the Draco or something. It's called a dragon Draco. And there's passages, I believe it's in the Bible or somewhere, it said that he will cut the dragon's throat with his great and mighty sword. And someone cut the throat of this dragon, and it bled out here in the desert. And trust me, I went through this entire creature. It's got a cloaca. All right, the cloaca is right here. If you follow it through, you can go right through the whole digestive system and everything. And the cloaca is in the back here somewhere. I forget. But I think it might be right over here. And this is the digestive dump coming down through here. I forget now. It's been years I've been doing this. Yeah, I think it's right through here. And then it mixes with the other stuff and poops it out. It's a bird anatomy. And the tail comes all the way back here, but you can see it very well detailed here. And you can also see the bodily fluids running off here. That's decay of bodily fluids. Yeah, go to any coroner. A coroner will look at this and say, yeah, something died there, pretty big. And it was extremely big. There's his legs, and there's the dead body, and all of this run off here. The black and red is blood. The red is your red blood, and the black is the vein blood, which has already been depleted of oxygen. In us, it's blue and red.
So, how's that?
In Arizona, too, it's documented, photos in newspapers and all, a 1 mile long alligator that's, petrified in the desert there. It's 1 mile long, head to tail.
So when I talk about a bear in the clouds, I get scoffed at, Jim. Why is that?
We counted 4,400.
Can I throw something in?
Someone answer that, please, first.
Sure.
Because people don't want to think about it, Pete. It's too much for them.
Too much for you, Ranty, because you mocked me for saying that.
For saying what? Sorry, what are you going on about now, Pete?
About the repeating cloud pattern, the bear in the clouds.
Well, we've heard it before though, Pete, and it's like, you know, I don't want to every time we do a show to just go back to these repeating patterns and Michael Jackson and the dodo. You know, I mean, I want to talk about different things on different shows.
Is tonight not the first time you heard about Michael Jackson and the dodo?
No, I've heard you say it before, Pete.
Why did you pretend a little bit early that you didn't?
Because you never mentioned about. No, you never connected them. I'm not talking about Michael Jackson. You've talked about Michael Jackson playing somebody else in the past, not about this dodo stuff. Anyway, right. So let's not get sidetracked on this. Yeah, it was an interesting video. I mean, do you have the coordinates for that page? And maybe I could have a look myself.
I shall go back into it and see if he's put it in the description. Hang on.
What's his video called?
Mud Fossil University, Rogersburg.
It was the peer review of peer review video. So it's about the third video back, and it's like it starts about minute 2, where he starts showing you the fish.
Okay, one sec.
But ye be warned, if you're gonna talk with him, don't let him know you believe the Earth is flat. He made a video.
Yeah, he doesn't like flat Earth.
He says we're demons, jinns, evil, all kinds of demonization. That's what a flat earther is to him.
Yeah, except we have the truth.
Therefore, his information is tainted, right, Jim? What he's presenting has to be tainted because he's denying the obvious to all of us.
He reminds me of the guy who made the series The Code, with the numbers and monuments there for their latitudes and longitudes. What was his name?
Are you telling me
the Da Vinci Code?
Hang on, please. Are you telling me this guy can stretch his imagination to fucking dragons eating fish in clear detail, thousands of miles long in the Sahara Desert, and he can entertain? Let me finish, man. And he can't entertain thoughts of a flat and a fish.
It is not imagination. I have to shut you down right there. You want to call
Let me finish. I was almost
everything is pareidolia to you, apparently. Well, finish.
Let me finish. Are you telling me this guy, you believe this as well, that this guy can stretch his mind to pointing out in great detail dragons eating fish of massive proportions in the desert and the pattern? Hang on, Jim!
You just ramble on. You're asking a question. How long is your
Let him finish, man! Shut the fuck up!
Oh, Pete! Oh my goodness! You just burst my eardrums.
That was Brian. That wasn't me. I'm sorry, Brian. I know you.
Oh, okay, Brian. Oh.
I'm sorry, though. Because Jim,
I'm sorry, but I'm trying to listen to Pete and Jimbo won't shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
My question is, how believable is it that this guy is selling us dragons?
Because he believes in space, Pete. He's got a vested interest in space.
I'm asking flat earthers here, right?
I am a flat earther.
Right, so consider my question then. How believable is it that he's asking us to consider these notions seriously, which there's plenty of direct evidence for, but he fucking rules you out immediately as a flat and a stationary earther, as a demonic representative of
he's suffering cognitive dissonance.
He isn't his
because
he's acting a fucking role.
He believes the moon got pregnant and had a baby also, so I don't know.
That's possible, Jim. That's possible. What is the moon?
The moon is a light. The moon is a light.
What do you mean it's a light? A light of what?
There we go. It's a light. That's all I know.
You've been bragging in the chat, right? That I've been considering the mirror moon for 5 years, Chinese mirror. Right. So the moon is what? A reflection of what?
What's below?
What is below?
What we have down here.
Did you not say earlier
the
on?
Same as what's
Mother Earth? Did you not say Mother Earth? What distinguishes a mother, Jim? The eggs, right? The eggs, right, Jim?
Well, if you knew your chemistry and how anatomy forms from the fetus to about the 3rd month, when either what's going to be the fallopian tubes or the testicles make their switch, well, then you know there is an androgyny in the fetus until a certain point where normally it'll become male or female.
Right.
As far as mammals go.
Right. So what's the relationship between the eggs and the sperm, Jim? Are they divided? Are they divided from a prior whole, which was the very early days of the zygote, where the sperm, the initial sperm, came together with the egg? Or are they united into a prior established form, which is the penis, God created penis for the male and the vagina, the hole for the female.
Rib and clay.
Right. What does that mean, though, in a flat earth sense, Jim?
I don't know.
Come on, you've had loads of years to think about it, man.
Why should I know all the answers to your questions?
You shouldn't know, but you should have formulated some sort of solid thoughts on it, the way you could advance.
Okay, right, okay, so seems like it's turning into the Pete and Jimbo show again for the second night running. Clearly these two just don't get along very well at all. They just don't like each other. So I'm going to have to figure something out with these two. As it is now, I'm going to let them ramble on between one another and sort it out off air. But yeah, I think it was a reasonably productive show. SciManDan got absolutely crushed, by the way. And so did Arctic Reflections. Oh, dearie me. Yes, none of them should get away with putting something out that's totally wrong. And it totally was wrong. Anyway, I appreciate every one of you stopping by this evening, and people that supported the show with the super chats, much appreciated. If anybody still wants to support the show, there are means and ways to do so. Just look in the description. Any support would be very welcome at this time, indeed. So the links are there. You can become a channel member, Patreon. You can even cut out the middleman and go direct to PayPal if you so wish. Everything just to keep the show going. Right, that'll do for tonight, guys. I will try and do another show tomorrow. That'll be day 6. I'll be 6 on the trot. So, providing I can get some content together, I'll do something. And failing that, which I won't be a fail, I will do a show tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Be good to one another, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Take care.